except for the drunk thing in front of her who she poked with the horns. And then went and found Caltrix.
Fair.
Okay, so welcome to our next game of D&D. It's session number 138, or Phase 3, Season 2, Episode 24. They're up to the 23rd day of the 7th month of the year 1011, and they are currently in the nation of Wendar dealing with a rather pedantic old elf king, who obviously believes he knows best.
Of course. Just ask you.
And may give Thendril a run-through's money from Lord of the Rings.
I somehow I'm very tempted to want Dimitri to meet the Wizard King just for the hell of it. Mm-hmm. See what, have a pedantic off. Mm-hmm. Ego pedantic off.
Right. I'm sure it'd be good for the king to meet Dimitri. He'd learn something. Lots of things, probably.
That's if they'd listen to him.
Right.
Yes, he's not an elf. That would probably be stated on more than one occasion. Mm. Just to interrupt him every time Dimitri got into a conversation.
Mm-hmm. You're not an elf, you don't matter.
Okay, so online today we have Jeremy.
Hey, good evening all. I'm not playing Dimitri this evening. I'm playing Jack Nimmer, the Atruaghin tribesman who started out as a humble sheriff equivalent. I take advance under the auspices of Atruaghin himself and the dragon, the Great One, to be selected as the clan chief of chiefs, chairman of the clan, and as part of that, having become clan chief of the new dragon clan, which also involved a bit of a metamorphosis for himself. Right now, he's still catching up.
Also online today we have Naomi.
Hello, I'm Nadar. Nadar has no idea what's going on.
I'm sure that's the choice of many of the other characters too, as we'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
At the table today we have Rhiannon.
Hi, I am currently playing Seika. After Maika had a very bad day yesterday. And she is happily sharpening her knives while looking at the door, thinking of ways she can take revenge.
And she's got so many people to take revenge against, considering just how much this place messes with herself.
Yes.
The list gets longer and longer.
And she is taking notes.
By the day.
Okay.
Right fast enough.
Next up we have is Paul.
Who is Chloel, diplomat, warlock, healer, generally nice guy, and prince of two backgrounds, neither of which really should be getting in each other's face and generally are at the moment.
Technically prince of one and a clan leader of the other.
True. Prince of one and sort of princey bit of the other.
And you've actually managed to get your, once you get your tree growing, you'll be considered a full clan member.
Yep.
Instead of a subsidiary clan, as
Yep.
most families are.
Yes.
The full clans are the ones who have the tree of life.
Mm. And there's not very many.
20 of them.
Yep.
Does that
And
mean you're a sucker until your tree grows?
That's for vines.
Just checking.
next at the table we have is Grant.
Of no particular destiny or faith, an old soldier of the go big or go home school. Still hunting for Ballista.
Mm. Well, we were talking about that before I could make you one.
And joining us next...
Probably have to buy planes for it.
Bunny went for a walk.
Is Ariadne?
Look closely at the camera. Caltrix is karate kidded up.
No.
She is. Speaking of go big or go home, she's the big that sends you home. Being a white dragon, kind of. At least by species.
Whitish.
Vaguely white in colour.
So there was a day where she got to choose her own destiny, and she decided that she would be a chromatic dragon no more. She would become a metallic dragon and start telling the other dragons what the hell to do, because they were doing it wrong, and someone needed to tell them how to do it right. So yeah, she's now a silver dragon, still white dragon by species, with the other two elements though of black and blue. So that is water and entropy, in addition to air. And she may or may not be going to add green to her colour spectrum. She likes rainbows. They're pretty and they're fun to eat.
You could go for a green gem dragon.
She's more going for a planar dragon eventually.
Well, no, that's fair.
She has her sights set atmospherically, or out of the atmosphere.
Cosmically.
Yeah, cosmically. Yeah, cosmic dragon. Along her side is her plant-like friend. Emphasis on the like, in that Eep looks like a Sarracenia plant. Looks alone, otherwise she's Fey Dark, and if you're not family, she will eat you, and that is not good.
So it's an overpowered twig blight.
No.
I feel if you described Eep like that in character,
I would
Eep
not.
might decide that you're not closely enough related to count as family.
I would not, because Eep is so much beyond an original twig blight. It doesn't.
But Eva's got a new friend on Friday night.
Yes, she does. I'll just finish
It's
Brad's
not-
coffee and I'll join the table.
Yes, it's not something that Claude would do. He's
No.
got a specific specialisation in dealing with the Fae. Okay,
Yes,
the
which
Fae
always
force.
goes. So, Eep normally says Eep, and every time Luel looks at him and thinks about the Fae, he probably goes Eek. Much like one of the other players in the group who's not here tonight, Lani. Lani has actually had a experience of Eep in the Fae Dark, where Eep was helping, and now has a complex about being alone with Eep.
Which is 100% reasonable.
Seika knows enough about Fey Dark that she looked at Eep, Eep looked at her hungrily, and stays clear.
Yes, I will fight, and I will fight back hard enough, it will hurt.
So, who would like to do the recap of where we're up to?
Normally that's Lani, but
No Lani
we
today.
don't have a Lani today.
I
Yes,
can.
is she?
Yeah, let's give Rhiannon / Sandra a go.
How many pages of notes did I do last week?
Because you take notes.
I take
don't.
lots of notes.
I don't for this game.
So we started out in the floating forest of the Medal? Elves? Meadil elves. Calcrix arrived and went out to try and see if she can get some more questions out of the librarian,
Foreshadowing his death.
foreshadowing his death. And everybody got really sad and really ceremonial, and we all got a bit freaked out. And then we found out that the prophecy was that when Calcrix arrived, the librarian was going to die, whether it was because of Drazzle or not.
Insert scene here where Calcrix goes up to Drazzle and scuffs him up the back of the head and says, "Don't make prophecies where I kill people."
Technically. So we found out some more about where we're going. I'm not going to go into it, but I do have it. Drazzle eventually came out. There was a table with 5 settings, one for Calcrix, one for the librarian, one for the captain of the guard, who has since been named successor. We'll see how that works out. One for Eep, and one which had no setting, but there was a seat there. Drazzle, after Calcrix's conversation with the librarian, where we all realised, oh shit, this guy is going to die. Drazzle comes out, sits down, asks the one question that the librarian could answer without looking at the book, because the book would never be able to give him the answer, which was, have you lived a life worth living? The clan leader answered yes, taking a moment for the first time in over 900 years where he wasn't referring to the book for his answer. At that time, the Rakashta ship arrived. Everybody was either distracted by that immediately or took some time. We basically found out that the librarian was either going to be somehow killed with Drazzle there or kill himself, because that was what was going to happen. We got on the Rakasta ship. I got very sad because I'm not allowed to be a samurai space cap. At this point, yes.
I have reincarnated.
I like Seiko. I'll just wait for another campaign at some point.
Fair.
A lot of us were a bit thrown, grieving in a way. Some of us got instantly distracted by Shiny.
Why am I not surprised?
We went on the ship. The ship took like an hour to get from over...
An hour to do over a month's travel for normal people.
Yep.
Very impressive.
They talked... Drazzle was able to talk to Rakastan, which was cool. The library is closed until another clan chief is elected and picks up the book. In the future, the same curse will pass on to them because the information they hold is too dangerous. We fly, we arrive in Wendar, we go up, we find the most annoying person in the world, which is the Wizard King. Oh, before this, Calcrix got a Rakastan slate, i.e. iPad, for learning the Rakastan language.
Please don't call it an iPad.
Sorry.
Android. Tablet.
Oh, tablet. Very much better. Always my preference.
That's why I use the word slate.
I
Because we already have the iStore with IYE
Yep,
store.
okay.
I have a t-shirt that
How
says
about-
Wiskowski, not Jobs.
Very much specifically an Android tablet.
Come on, boot.
We arrived in Wendar. The guards saw us, approached Lowell, ignoring everybody else. Said, prophecy told you would come when you were needed, and there was a tone
very
of,
cool.
why the hell weren't you here before? Yes.
Picture disappeared not long after he showed.
We did see it though. It did exist.
Yes.
My husband wants one of those.
What is it?
Just the bread is books. It's a Chinese-made bread.
I think it's designed
It's
along the lines of it's better
It's-
screen read than a lot of the others because it is not as painful on the eyes.
This is not backlit.
Right.
Yeah.
That is purely reflection from what
It's a lot of
which
e-readers.
means
Oh.
fewer now, but because tablets are easy to make, but because they're cheaper to make. But you can read this in full sunlight without
Okay.
any problems.
So
This, by the way, actually has one that I haven't seen in one of these before. It's actually also backlit.
yeah.
So you can read it actually in the dark, which I couldn't with the last one I had.
Okay, so
We then rose up through the tree,
yep.
heading up to the person who we've heard was normally calls himself Lord, but is the actual king. We get there, he starts talking in third person and referring to himself as the Wizard King. He literally says, "Greetings. You see before you the ruler of this declining nation. You see before you the Wizard King. Blah, 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 blah." He tells us about the information about the war with the Dark Realm of Denegoth, a whole heap of other things. He tells us that they think that somehow the Denegoths have gotten the gem that used to protect them and are corrupting it. He actually thinks the Dark Fae Vampire Lord would have taken it, which rang a bell for Seika. we ended up stuck there for 10 hours. With this guy just talking at Lowell and ignoring the rest of us, and we weren't allowed to leave.
And I'm really surprised Martin didn't make Calcrix roll a will save for not slapping him into next week.
Well, Calcrix did give him a coffee and then he restarted the entire introduction.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm surprised you didn't make me roll a will saving throw for not.
Fortunately, it was all standard
Losing
stuff, so I
my
could take a long rest during it.
Our whole thing... Yeah, but I couldn't transform in front of him.
No, that's true.
The whole... Basically, it boils down to our quest is to try and stop the war however we can. He wants us to get the gem back. Calcrix knows that's not possible. Seika knows that's unlikely. And we also heard that the Shadow Lord is serving the Lady of Vengeance, which we were also told is Calcrix's last sibling.
Right.
After this, and when we were finally allowed to leave, Maika booked it out of there because she was going absolutely insane, ran out into the forest. Everything was unnatural, and she ended up in a quivering heap before Calcrix came down and...
Because the
Comforter.
forest was a garden, not a forest.
Yes.
And Eep said Calcrix's name for the first time by saying Calcrix fix. This may not have been about fixing Maika at that time.
No. Calcrix is probably going to have to roll something, or people are going to have to talk to Calcrix, because Calcrix is now at a point where she's about to slap that king into next week. A, disrespecting a dragon. She's gotten to a point now where she's just like, no, I don't let that pass anymore. I'm old enough and big enough. And 2, you've really disrespected the people you should be respecting.
Well, I'll be interested to see how he reacts for now that I've woken up with Seika.
Yeah.
The rest of the party was directed towards food. They were shown a room with lots of meat on bones over spits. Basically, it was described
Good
as
food.
the way we would perceive what orcs eat. So the idea was that it was an insult because they're going, hey, you don't eat civilized food, here have uncivilized food. Lowell...
Father Pat's gnawing on a haunch of beef. He doesn't care.
Yes.
I
Lowell...
updated the menu.
Lowell took some of it and fabricated into a vegetarian meal. Basically, that you would have as a high elf,
I did look
basically
up the
saying...
fabricate, and it only works if it's raw material, which technically it was.
Technically, because it was uncooked.
No, it was cooked, but it was still raw material,
Yeah.
even though it was cooked. It was just transformed raw material, like cut lumber is
Yeah.
still raw material.
Yeah, that's one thing to get a decision on, is when it says object, does a meal for 10 people count as an object?
Technically, the create food and drink is what turns one meal into many meals.
Yeah.
So that's the way you normally do that. Fabricate.
Which Drachnoma could
Yeah.
have done.
Yeah. So
Well,
basically,
so could I.
He and Lani were happily
Yeah.
eating the meat,
so
which
that would
tasted
have been
like
how you
bison.
created the supply. Is
Yeah,
through
I
the.
could have done that and then done create food and water from that as well.
But the
'cause I've got
fabricate
that
would have
as
changed it into vegetables, and then
Yes.
you could have then.
Yeah, but I've got both rituals, so yeah, I could have.
I was just doing that clarification for you
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I read
that's
through
fine.
it all specifically.
Yeah.
And what would have been hard is if it was a final product, such as served on a plate.
Yeah.
If it was served on the plate, then it wouldn't have been raw materials to turn into something else.
Yes.
So you can't turn eggs Benedict into carrots.
But you can, turn sliced carrots into something else
Yes.
if they're not
Yeah. Cool.
as
Served.
a meal.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
found out that we weren't expected back till the next morning, so we had time.
Mm.
Was it Calcrix or Eep who said that he was a boring man? I think it was Calcrix.
I was calling him a boring man. Plus, I also made a point of going to the door and demanding fruit and vegetables.
Yes, we're not at the morning yet, but yes.
No, that was straight away.
Mm.
Calcrix was like, yep, you can fabricate all you like. I'm making a point of asking these guys for fresh fruit and vegetables.
When we got back,
Fair
Calcrix carried Maika back. Maika went straight to a bedroom and collapsed. After trancing for a bit, she did ascending and transformed. We talked a bit about how everybody responded to the boring man. We were reminded that we don't have time to follow high elf etiquette, and we are allowed, and we're told that it would be best if we just bull rushed through it. Drazzle
Yes.
went to sleep before the others.
Drazzle also looked visibly weak.
Not yet. He just went
He
to.
looked visibly weak. He did.
The reason that was a point was none of the other characters would have any memory of him sleeping.
Yeah. So, Calcrick set up a shrine and did the ceremony for the librarian. Seika got some information from her stuff and had some instructions. We woke up and Drazzle, when prompted, replied weakly to a question, but then went back to sleep. Horse was outside and had been told to guard. When Calcrix went out to demand food and fruit and vegetables.
That was the night before, yeah.
You also did it in the morning.
Yeah, I did do it again.
She found out that Horse was not in his illusion form, and in front of the door was a large blue drake.
Huge drake, actually.
Huge blue drake.
Bigger than Calcrix is.
Who's horse?
The horse for the car.
Drazzle's horse.
Oh, the horse and cart, right.
It's the horse and cart thing. It's a blue drake.
The locks had fallen off the cart.
Big thing.
We started getting worried. We looked at Drazzle, who was very faded, like there was no shine to his scales. He was looking very withdrawn and stuff. Was it No, it was Hildren who got the information of what actually happened, so they don't know what's happened yet. All we guess is that Drazzle was probably drained from what happened at the Flying Forest. Probably fixing some issues.
Calcrix is a little bit more aware, but that's because she spent time with Drazzle, time traveling that. So she's seen him look weakened, but never like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we figured out that there's something to do with time traveling. Monday Night doesn't know. Differentiating between characters. We do know that there is levels of fatigue and strife, so Lowell did a ritual to get rid of 2 levels of each, and Drachnamar did a ritual to get 1 of those off. So he's lost 2 levels of fatigue and strife, and lost 1 level of something. 1 of those. But Drazzle is still looking weakened.
I think it was 2 strife and 3 exhaustion.
Yeah, I think that's where we went.
Yeah.
So Drazzle is still looking weakened, and probably won't be functioning for a bit.
Yeah. Actually, no, the other way around, because exhaustion is easy to recover from.
Then strife.
A sleep and a good meal, easy. Strife, a bit harder.
You normally lose 1 point to fatigue and strife overnight.
Yeah.
So he slept for a night, so he already lost 1 of each and was still looking that weak.
Yeah.
Which has ongoing effects for the other nights, but, we'll get there. And that's where we are. Everybody's woken up. Seika is sitting in a shadow, so you can't actually see her, in front of Drazzle sharpening her blades. Everybody else is running around either finding breakfast or trying to figure out what's going on.
And finding that they can't shut the door on the cart properly because locks don't seem to fit.
I've collected the locks so that they don't go missing.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I believe when I was questioning at the end of the session, or somewhere in the session, Martin said to not get too distracted by it because, there's horse.
Well,
Wednesday night also got some interesting facts on that too. But then again, they did summon a demon lord.
Yeah.
Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was one of the issues that we had with the druid, and one of the reasons my character kept yelling at the druid.
Because the druid was summoning demons?
He said the demon lord's name 3 times in rapid succession.
And all the...
So the player is a smeghead.
And he had written his name all over the place with stone shape, and his name suddenly turned into the demon lord's name, including a giant one on the cliff.
Yep.
Oh, fun.
So he was being told rather sharply to fix it by the cleric of Zurchev.
Well, after calling on the Demon Lord, he didn't give it an offering, so the Demon Lord took.
Yeah. And
course.
thankfully the Drake did save us that time.
So not only is he a smeghead, he's a double smeghead.
I managed to get some damage on it, but the Drake is the one that saved us in that moment. So Horse was very useful. But yes, as a player, I am very worried about the locks being off. As a character, Seika doesn't know that yet.
Calprix is worried about those locks.
Well, so would Luel and Dimitri Drachnimir having both gone backwards and seen Drazzle put people backwards.
Well, basically, we generically amongst the group, we know that door is probably more dangerous than Horse.
Well, we've gone through
The
it
two
once
of
for
us
our Christmas
specifically.
special.
Yeah, but that was him doing it.
Seika
Drachnimir-
doesn't have that experience.
No, Drachnimir and Paul both know that door is really more dangerous than Horse. And it being unprotected at the moment is actually bloody scary.
So, as much as Calprix wants to go and tell the king off, Calprix is going to let people like Drachnimir deal with the king.
Yeah.
She's going to guard the back of the cart.
I figure we're expected in the morning, but he's been disrespectful enough that we can wait. He can wait.
Okay, so while you update Nadara and Father Pat on stuff, I'm just going to duck to the bathroom because I'm sure they could do with a bit more information.
Yes.
Any questions? Because I can't remember what I said.
Well, seeing you weren't here for last session, you don't know much about the actual kingdom we're in.
No. I know nothing about it at all.
These guys are to high elves what high elves are to everybody else, in their own estimation.
Right.
They are the pinnacle
In their own
of
estimation.
elvenness.
So Calprix
And
sees
if
them
you're-
as just elves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of other people do the same, but from their point of view, they are the pinnacle of elfenness, and therefore nobody else's opinion matters,
So literally,
no matter who they are.
they ignored everybody else, talked at Luel,
Yes.
and
For
have
a
spent
day.
the entire time with barely hidden barbs in our experience.
So Michael Chancery, having spent a fair amount of time
Yes.
with the dwarves, would think this is all pointy-eared crap.
Um,
Not worthwhile worry about.
I think it's pointy-eared crap, and I'm one of the pointy-ears.
They didn't even
This
acknowledge
guy-
me, which is
Yeah.
why I'm interested to see how they react to the seemingly seasoned elf we're
Yes.
here.
Another elf, but not a high elf, therefore in the same boat as the humans and everyone else.
Father Pat probably
That's
slept through
what
the
they're
10
like.
hours.
Or just, yeah.
Lani started sleeping through
Yeah.
the 10 hours.
Started doodling and designing a ballista.
I took my 4 hours rest during that time because I could. So,
You put
I
yourself into a
couldn't.
trance.
I tranced
couldn't.
during it. Yes.
I was literally prowling around the room like a panther.
Because she was stressed out. I was just going, well, this is one, my element. Two, I know exactly what he's going to say. Third,
you trying to be
I know how long it's going to take him to say it, and I know which bits I can sleep through.
I was also in
So
the
he
wrong
was
form
being-
for it. Maika,
Yeah.
Maika is probably the
Yeah.
one that is not
You
used to
would've-
being ignored.
You would have probably, you'd have been snarky and probably locked up afterwards. But yeah, he spent 10 hours being supercilious, ridiculously over formal. Like, you've heard me being formal, this guy's worse.
10 times worse.
He
At
would
least.
basically make an ant from Lord of the Rings say, hurry up.
Yeah. Yeah, and these are people who take a week to give you an idea. And scattered all the way through it, barbs against anybody who basically wasn't these guys,
So in that case,
including me.
what you would have heard is snoring from Father Pat in the corner and occasional.
And there
Is
are
he
some
finished
of the-
yet? No, right, back to sleep.
Martin did
The thing is,
imply
he
that
uses
if
that an
we
example of his point.
But
So,
Martin did imply that if we
Yeah.
slept, we may have missed important information, so
yeah.
we couldn't just go to sleep.
Well, Father Pat was... Lani slept under the wing of Calcric,
Yeah.
so Father Pat could have been at the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
No,
I'm not saying
resting against Caltrix's side.
Yeah.
Yeah, but being hidden from the king while sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is
Yeah.
a guy who's begging for our help.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this is him begging, treating the people he's asking like crap.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. This is him being nice, because otherwise he'd have just locked us up and gone and found somebody who could do it properly.
Well, you wouldn't have locked Llewell up.
No, he locked everybody else up and said, "Well, go and do that."
Seika was...
She's
I'd love to
elf-shaped.
see him try and lock up Calcraig.
Well,
I'd love
okay,
to see what happened if he locks up Seiko.
what he tries and what he succeeds in doing are two very, very different things. Particularly when you get up to about around our level. Where, hi, oh, all those guards suddenly had a nap.
Though he is...
Let's discuss this again.
He is from the tradition of the same as the king of the Shadow Elves.
Mm-hmm.
So both of them are high elves.
Yep.
And this is one of their major kingdoms. So.
Yeah. So, from their point of view, it's entirely legitimate. It's not just arrogance.
They-
It's not his arrogance. It's the people's arrogance.
Cultural arrogance.
And
cultural
they had
arrogance.
culturally segregated
And-
themselves from the rest of
Yeah.
the races.
And I'm a high elf, and I actually don't like it very much because I spent most of a lot of time growing up in Darrakan, where that sort of thing is.
And the Shadow
Bad
Elves
idea.
don't make a distinction anymore between
No.
high elf and other elves. They're
Because-
just elves.
Yeah, because it's shadow elves and everyone else.
Yes. Whereas
Dungeons
the high
tend to
elf
have
still...
shadows.
Yeah.
Whereas the high elf the high elf nation here tends to be very snotty towards everyone else, because
Yeah.
if you're not a high elf, even if you're a seasonal elf, they're still looked down upon you.
You are just
Yeah.
a merely higher level of scum.
So every other elf community, when they realise I'm a seasonal elf, treats me better.
Yep.
But these
Yeah,
guys are just
so-
going to ignore it.
Because you're not a high elf.
It doesn't
Therefore,
matter.
you're another elf. You're a bit better than the dwarves.
You're welcome in their country just as long as you don't want anything.
Or don't get in the way.
Well, I may want things. They might
And
not
you-
realise I want things until I'm gone. And this is why I was talking about possibly stealing some weapons.
Wanting things and asking for things, two different things. They're talking about asking.
So what help do they actually want from us? We're
Well,
not found
okay.
out yet.
They want us to do all the work.
So what?
Yes.
Basically,
We have to go and get a thing.
after 10 hours
No.
of conversation, they
It's
were
not
all
gonna
to
be
nut it
No.
down to
Yeah.
that they had a rivalry with a northern kingdom run by a guy called the Shadow Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And he had at his disposal an undead army.
Yes.
And the elves had used a relic to keep undead out of their nation. It disappeared quite a few years back. And now they're struggling to repel the invaders because undead are pouring into their nation from the north, and a bunch of them are walking all the way through their nation, crossing the borders to the south. Because
And
there is
upset by this.
there is another war on the other side of the border to the south in Galantry, where a bunch of vampires are having a who's the best vampire competition.
And to put it
With armies of undead.
put a little bit of context in it, the thing that we've been asked to retrieve is called a green jewel. It looks like a seed,
Mm.
and there's 5 of them. And if you have all 5, you can basically destroy the world. One of these seeds got, and this would be player knowledge, not character knowledge. One of the
Yeah.
seeds, Dimitri and the Wednesday group put at the top of a mountain,
Mm-hmm.
where it
In-
can't actually be reached.
So the mountain itself is on the Fey Dark,
Mm-hmm.
and it is in a spot of the Fey Dark where only the dead can survive.
Right. Since none of us are dead, it's very hard to get there.
But
I'll be difficult to get there.
the living can get there under certain conditions, and the Ethangarian people are the ones who control that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not untouchable,
It's
but
just
it's
bloody difficult.
But they
very,
have to
very
know
difficult
where.
to get
They
to.
also have to know where to dig on top of that mountain to get it,
Yeah.
because
And which mountain?
there's only one mountain.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair.
The mountain's easy to climb.
And then the other 2, there's 2 that have gone missing, which will relate to what I'm going to ask Martin in a second.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's 2 more that we don't have a whole lot of knowledge on. But Calcrix has encountered 2, and when she was on the ship with the cat people, she may or may not have given them a box out of her secret chest that they are holding on to, so that she doesn't walk into the very place who wants these green jewels with something that they might actually want.
Yeah, Calcrix
So
gave them to the Recastans, who have taken them up into space and pointed basically a armada of spaceships at the place that has the box in case somebody pops up to try and get it.
Well, yeah,
Hi.
and you'd have to be able to survive in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Hi, this is bait.
Yeah.
If you can get to it, you're not going to get to it.
Yeah. So this thing that keeps the undead out, is it another one of these seeds?
They believe it
yeah.
was one of those seeds. So, player knowledge, it was stolen by Calcrix when Calcrix has
Yeah,
no
so
memory
that
of
was
how
gonna-
it happened.
Yeah.
That was going to lead on to my question, was can I ascertain from the knowledge that I got from 10 hours of Boring Man that it's highly likely that I have
Boring
the
Man.
seed
That's fine,
that
the
they
Burning
used to
Man.
have?
Yes, you know that for a fact you
Okay.
have the seed, and that it was by the Elven Trickster God that you stole it.
Yep.
Because
Can
if
you remind me of the name? 'Cause it's my
So,
board.
most people will not remember anything to do with these seeds, but Calcrix spent a bunch of downtime slowly earning the ability to remember enough so that she knows what the heck to do with these things.
Okay, so the name is Eirindul, EirynDul. Otherwise, has the Cheshire's cat teeth smile as his holy symbol. Also known as the Adventurer.
He's my god.
And he is probably one of the few elven gods who is not boring.
No,
Boring's the best word I can
The
come up with right
opposite of
now
boring
because the
man.
rest is rather nasty.
the absolute opposite of Boring Man. But, the opposite of Boring Man
Oh, hey, oh my god.
leads to that curse, may you lead an interesting life. Because,
And part of future planning is people have moved artifacts from where they would get people into trouble.
trouble.
And the seed and the trees of life in Wendar would have meant the master attack there.
So I'm not feeling so angry at Boring Man because I know something he doesn't know.
Yes. He's a boring, ignorant git, not just a boring git.
Yeah.
But because the seed wasn't here, the master had no reason to come here.
Yep.
Because he would have then tried to collect all 5.
Yeah. Which is why.
And he would have
Before
then
we got
become a
onto the
god of
ship,
nothing.
Calcrix nudged Drazzle and went, I have something in my possession that you probably know I've got in my possession that I should probably get out of my possession before we go to Wendar.
This is also these gems that Seiko has been told to look out for.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't mentioned them to
No.
anyone.
No.
Yep.
But my patron, all hail Count Ziggy, Zeggy, has part of the reason that I am fairly certain that they're not, that they don't have this seed gem and they're not corrupting it is that my people have already searched that area
Yep.
and it's hard to hide things from them.
So, if we know that they don't have at least... There is the possibility that they've got number 4 and 5 out of the seed gems, though.
Not guaranteed they'll have one gem.
But there is that potential in the sense of there are 2 gems we do not know the whereabouts of, and it is entirely possible that this invading force does have a gem, just not the gem that I took from the King of Boringness.
But they wouldn't have got it from where they currently
I
are.
don't think we got that impression from the 10 hours conversation.
No.
It seemed that they only had one gem, and that one gem got stolen.
No, this is just Calcrix theorizing that she's the sort of person who's kind of like, I'm not going to count out that gem 4 or 5 could be out here somewhere. They're somewhere. She doesn't know where.
Yeah.
So she's not going to go charge into the invading area because
And the benefit of the gems is they're very hard to divine.
yeah. Yeah, you've
Yeah.
got to be. I don't know. Can I do a locate object since I know what they look like?
Not easily.
Ah,
There's
interesting.
always a chance it will fail or give you misinformation.
Whereas Saker's
All the-
fairly
all the fun
certain
of
that if
legendary
they
items.
do have that one of those gems, it's not from where they're currently congregating.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, hard to find things from my people.
And the one thing you did learn is that where one gem is, there's likely to have another one turn up, and where there's 2 gems, the likelihood of a third to turn up is greater,
Mm-hmm.
and it just keeps going into they'll show up at the one spot, which just makes everything bad.
Which is why anyone being careful, some immortal being careful, has to actively go around and move the bloody things all the time.
The
And
Immortals don't
there is a
remember
bunch
them, do
of orcs. What was that?
The Immortals don't remember them, do they?
You don't know.
No.
They haven't told you. So the one of the gems had been with orcs in the mountains between Five Shires and Darrakan,
Yeah.
but someone moved it from there a while back and tasked one of the knights to return it, or that would cause a lot of problems.
Right.
One of the nights.
One of the game knights.
Oh, okay. One of the.
One of Redrune's team.
Yeah, one Monday, Wednesday, or Friday.
Yeah, I can't remember which one, but I know it was one of them.
I know Wednesday got rid of one. Could it be Wednesday? Or is that a separate gem entirely?
Yeah, actually, I think it was Wednesday.
Yeah.
But Wednesday got rid of the one they got, so they didn't quite return it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, we were
Whereas-
dealing with that week's apocalypse.
Calcrix doesn't know most of this information, and that's why she's kept her to. But she's kept her to. She has recently found out from Drazzle that she needs to split them apart, and so now she's trying to figure out how to split them apart. But she only found that out last session.
Right.
So, but I guess what I was saying was in the sense of the possibility, the potential of there being 2 out there is that she just wants to be really prepared before she faces these forces.
And Saker wouldn't have said anything about her knowledge to Calcrix, and Calcrix won't have said anything to Saker about
She
her
just wants to be
knowledge.
careful, because if they do have a gem, it's trouble.
Yeah.
And like in Saker's mind, they could have one, but she knows it won't have come from where they are.
Better to be prepared if they do have one and find out there's nothing there.
Saker's be prepared.
Yeah,
Very much a rule.
that's her preference as well.
Nadar, did Nadar have any other questions or anything they wanted to add?
No, but if I think of anything along the way, I will ask.
I was going to say, the dragon on the side of this thing is awesome. This is your
Very
new
cool.
panel, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a new panel.
Yes.
I should take a photo and share it for other people, but my hands are hurting right now.
That is cool.
So
The inside of
The
the thing
musculature
is a lot better
of it
as well.
is, like, even though he's got scales, you can just see all the muscles and everything.
I'm
Alright,
also
I'll have to have another look at it
relying
later.
I'll
on
stop.
mine from the one of the other sets too. So
Yeah.
because this border comes from the French D&D variant, and it has a lot of other cool stuff on it.
No, the Dark Eye? No, that's the German one.
No, that the French one is has the Red Dragon set
Right.
of books that I've got in
Yeah.
the bedroom. I can't remember what it's called though.
So-
Dragon something.
we're
I
in
can't remember.
our suite of rooms.
Yep.
Drazzle is asleep.
Mm-hmm.
We're all worried. Saker is in a shadow sharpening knives. I'm assuming Father's Pat's just eating what is in front of him.
Oh, he's probably sharpening his weapons, cleaning his armour.
We've got Drake sitting outside, who had to be convinced to let Calcrix out a little bit. We're expected by the king, but who cares?
Well, I do care, but
I don't.
I'm a bit worried. I'm a bit worried about this cart first.
Yeah, the cart is currently unlocked. Closed, but unlocked. Drazzle has been healed to some extent, but is still very much out.
And Llewell has learned with sending that the other versions of Drazzle have also fallen sick.
Yeah, one of them's passed out
All,
on my
all
order.
the, all
yeah,
the
so-
Drazzles have fallen sick.
Calcrix can report the Friday Drazzle is sick, and because I hate to ask you every game, am I a month in front on Friday? I think I'm a month
A
in
month
front.
behind.
A month behind.
A month behind. So, is Drazzle okay then on Fridays? No. So, Calcrix reports that Drazzle's been sick for 4 weeks now.
And got taken away by the Wild Hunt.
Yes, that's right. He got taken by the Wild Hunt.
and is off to be protected and
Yeah.
won't be hurt. Which is where
But
my
he's
new
still
character came.
here at the moment, a month in front. So does that mean he's come back from the Wild Hunt? This is hurting my brain.
He exists in the same time frame in 5 different places.
And Dimitri could probably...
Calcrix goes up to whoever's the cleric in the group and says, "Can I have 2 paracetamol, please?"
And Dimitri
Is that all?
can probably tell Llewellyn that the Wednesday night
Paracetamol
Strazzle
extra,
is
thank you.
passed out on the shrine at the altar to Zerjeb in our new king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I will go to Drezel and ask him, can he tell me what's actually wrong, and is there anything I can do?
Oh,
He doesn't look like he's capable
Did
of speaking.
Hildren...
Oh, God.
Did
All right,
Hildren tell
I'll check
Dimitri
him over, though.
what was wrong?
Would Dimitri have told Llewellyn?
I could ask.
Okay, we've been about the report going through. There's no reason not to.
Okay,
Well,
so
Particularly after,
that means he would have said
Dimitri.
that Drezel had to roll back time 30 times in one day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we found that out on Friday too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I told
basically,
us.
us hitting him. Me doing the let's help his strife and exhaustion is probably the best thing I could have done,
Yeah.
and maybe the only thing I can actually handle one at the moment, considering the number of rituals I can cast in a day effectively.
And he had basically overextended himself
Yes.
because
And-
he didn't say how much he rolled back or how many years he rolled back each time.
Just
Because that changes
30.
to many lots.
30 times.
Ow.
And,
Around
and
the
it was
Devil
all to do
Library.
with what the Albish clan lord said in his final question.
Oh.
Going back, Dimitri's message to Paul and to Chauvel was stop stuffing up.
Yep.
Obviously, what's the Wednesday night group that forced retreats?
Who said it was us?
Well, technically it wasn't us.
Yeah,
It just
exactly.
happened to be an event we were at.
Yeah.
Calcrix.
Can I have some paracetamol too?
The other thing Llewellyn has learned is sometimes the event is rewound to the point where you didn't do the mistake that caused it to happen.
Calcrix. Could
Yes.
Seika get another can of Diet Coke?
Yes.
I'm just stuck.
And then someone does it anyway.
No, that's fine. I'm happy to grab one.
I'll grab one.
Wait. You know where to go?
Because the
Very
statement was that whatever the clan chief said without using the book would cause problems.
There's actually a bit that
at some
comes
point,
at the
Calcrix has done
Lovely.
like because she's actually
That's the
really
last
good.
one.
She's done this.
That's
No,
it,
there's
more
more.
hiding.
There's more.
There's
Want me to
more.
restock?
I'll grab them out in a sec when I go back to
sure.
the kitchen. So she like slips a little card into like Drazel's satchel and it's like, "I'm sorry, he keep turning time back. I'm trying to learn, so you don't have to do
That's
this."
what Lani's for.
That kind of thing.
And the statement was given to Lani, she may have to take over.
Yeah.
And that's why Lani's not here right now. She's getting an education by one of the Drazels about how to
That makes sense.
how to be Drazel when there's no
It's
Drazel.
important because of the dick.
Was
All the girls
Nadar
were sick.
Yes.
was Nadar
It'll be one for each group.
Yeah.
was Nadar with us when we sat through the 10 hours?
I think Nadar managed to not be noticed, so
Nadar's good at that.
So yeah, they didn't just appear somehow. They were with us. They were just quiet.
Yeah. Usually that's what we do is that they're there. If you haven't watched it, we'll have to show you the gamers one. One of the first ones. They do the people at the table, and then they do like this sort of them
the
actually
scene of
being
them
their
actually
thing.
doing the
And whenever
interview.
someone can't come, there's one of the guys is dressed up in costume, but he's just standing there,
Yeah.
and he's just not doing anything.
Love it. Okay, so we know the issue with Drazel. We know that the only thing we can really do is give him time to rest, and if we can, knock off some extra fatigue and strife.
Yes.
Though it would be disturbing that
Fairness.
he is currently somewhere else.
Yes.
Yes,
For those people who can't actually see the dragon on the end, that's the dragon on the end.
it's beautiful.
It is.
The king is awaiting us.
You got a PDF of the screen?
No. I can get this image though, but this is actually their sales site, so I can get that image.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you could get it from N Publishing
Okay, so you've now got
because that's the whole thing.
morning has
Broken.
has come up. You've all gotten the fantastic news that hey, yesterday was rewound many times.
Calcrick's
Excellent.
got her fruit and veg, I'm fairly sure.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
missed that because the fridge drawer was making a lot of noise.
You got your fruit and veg.
Yep.
So what you're saying is the speech only felt like 10 hours. It was actually 300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, technically, you probably did hear it 300 times.
So,
And you also.
so why did we
once.
hear it?
I was actually trying to finish what I was saying.
Yep.
I would like to get it out while I can still remember.
Yep.
Okay, sorry to sound frustrated, just that I've tried to say the same thing 5 times now. And now I've forgotten what I was saying. Just trying to remember. I'll hopefully remember it later.
So you were saying something, I think, about the time being wound back for the speech, like the 10-hour speech.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the
And
day
my-
got repeated.
My question is why? Do we know why it was repeated? Did Calcrix lose her temper and kill the king 50 times?
No, it was
Take
that
it.
the meeting with the Elven clan lord in the library had
Right.
bad results multiple times.
And because that was on the same day that we travelled to see the king,
Yes.
And
we went through the speech.
most
30
likely
times.
the results wouldn't have been felt for weeks, days, years afterwards.
Yeah.
And then he had to redo it.
Yep.
After all that time, and then yeah.
Which
yes.
probably didn't worry him. Didn't worry everybody else that had to listen to it.
No, it would have worried him. It's something he has to do.
Yeah. Well, in a way, I'm sure there's a part of him that's like, you guys screwed it up. This is the consequences of you guys screwing it up. You have to listen to Boring King
We didn't
10
screw it
times
up.
over. How do we
And
know? We don't know.
and
We
unlike
don't
some
know,
of the
but
other
we
times
didn't
he's
screw it
wound
up.
it back, you still have no memory of the other times.
No.
Occasionally, people have had memories of
Few,
the other
yeah.
times.
Yes,
Calcrix
Lani
is-
might, but she'd never tell us.
Calcrix has been on a few where she's actually remembered because she's been with Drazzle when he's wound it back. And she can say for a certainty it was either Tuesday's group or it was either Friday's group. Can't speak for Wednesdays. But I would have to say in one way it's more often Friday than it is Tuesday, Monday.
In my experience, it's happened 2 Wednesday once, but we still remembered what happened.
It's happened about half a dozen times in Friday. It's happened like twice. That Calcrix has been aware of it
Yeah.
in Tuesday, Monday. So
Well,
The one I've experienced was not our fault.
yeah,
so on the Friday one where they remembered it, they actually had the memories of the 2 timelines still.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few that only one.
And
or
they were
two-
told that every time Drizzle's rewound it, he has a full memory of each timeline.
Yeah,
Yeah. For 30 timelines.
and this is
Which
one of
could
the
have been
reasons
years
why
long.
Just this day.
Calcrix
Yes.
hasn't killed the Boring
Well,
King
maybe-
just
maybe
yet
it is
because
worth-
she doesn't want to make Drazzle have to rewind
Because
time
the
again.
repercussions may have taken a while.
And the Boring King probably
Many
likes.
lots.
Boring King probably likes listening to his own voice anyway. So
And
there's no
the
way
other
we could
statement
He's got
they
no awareness.
had was in each of those other timelines, the Master won.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, which means he's got the memory of watching the Master win 30
Well,
times.
because we know that depending on
Poor
how things
bastard.
went with the Librarian last session,
Yeah.
that the Master won. Because the information that the Librarian gave out would
Yes.
lead to the Master winning.
Yes.
I just love that you're combing your beard right now. No, I just love it. This is awesome.
Okay, so
Slightly mesmerizing to watch.
Takes care of
Yes.
his beard.
we have breakfast. We have a very sick Drazzle and an understanding of why. We have a huge drake outside the door. We have a still on edge Saker sitting in a shadow. What are we doing?
Okay, you hear a horn outside and a growl.
Do we recognise the growl?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's horse.
the growl will be horse. Calcrix is outside with horse, by the way, guarding
What
that
is-
cart.
Yes, what is the horn?
Well, the horn
sound?
is some of the high elves at a distance asking for you because they learned not to get closer. Apparently, the city's now divided between upper horse and lower horse because no one can pass on the road.
Calcrix yells into the room that we're in, "Lil, you're up!"
He doesn't bite much.
Well, he,
I gotta stay here and guard the cart. Can't be with the boring man. Take Dragnema.
What was the distraction? this is
He's
these
a
people.
dragon. He can kick his ass if he needs to.
I will take along whoever wants to come along. It's going to be amusing anyway around.
Don't take Seika. Jazz will have to rewind time. Seika can
That
stay
is a
with
good
me
point.
and guard the cart.
Seika?
Seika, if Seika's left alone for too long, she's going to go steal things.
Seika's got to guard Drazzle.
I'll guard Drazzle.
You can't move from Drazzle.
We've got a job.
I'll guard the cart. That means it's up to Dragnema, Grant, and
Right.
Rule, and
And
Adar.
And I'll go outside and guard my tongue.
Lani's still asleep somewhere.
Yeah.
okay, so
I
you
go outside and be polite.
yes, you see a rather confused and scared-looking guards with a herald. No, I can't have one of those.
No, that's okay. Sorry.
I'm trying to be.
Should have waited till you finished talking, but my brain just...
I'm having too
And
much fun.
they are relieved when they see you come out.
ADHD sucks.
Yes.
Yeah, so the king has summoned you multiple times.
But only now you think.
Now's the only time we have managed to get a horn.
Nobody
Haven't
has
we listened to the
sending?
king?
Didn't seem to work.
That is interesting. So,
They,
I
they
will-
basically they
Yeah.
say something about the cart seems to mess up their magic.
It messes up a lot of things.
Hmm.
I will attend His Majesty.
I'll come along with your bodyguard.
Perfectly valid.
We're happy to be there as part of the whole diplomatic outfit, boy.
So would Nadal like to
Promise not
meet
to go to
the
sleep though.
would Nadal like to meet the Elven King again?
Did I learn anything the first time, really?
Probably that he can put you to sleep if he without trying.
The big thing to learn, the big thing we all learnt there is don't do that again.
Yeah, no, I think I'm good.
Yes.
Whereas as an old soldier, Father Pat can stand behind you looking alert and think sound asleep.
Yes.
Because a soldier learns to sleep where they can.
Yes, they do.
So Nadar's staying with Seika inside the room.
Yeah.
Guarding the cart. Guarding Seiko.
Guarding Drazzle.
Yeah.
Making sure Seika
Yes,
doesn't do
absolutely.
something stupid, which
No.
she's very likely to do.
I will also say once they found out that they could cast Arcane Lock on the cart to add their own padlocks to it.
Which Dimitri probably
Useful.
would have said.
And
Yes.
they had a feeling that was what Drowsel's locks were.
Does one of us have Arcane Lock?
I
I don't think Calcrix does.
No, she doesn't.
I don't.
Dimitri or Llewell may.
I'm just checking.
I wouldn't think probably a warlock would probably end up with normally, because you've got limited spell code all, haven't you?
He can have taken it as a ritual.
Yes, which I
You
have.
go for a ritual that comes up, yeah.
You can get it as a ritual, therefore I have it as a ritual because I've got almost all ritual spells up to level 5.
I think I can really have about 90 odd rituals at that point.
Yeah, I've only got about 60.
2/3 is a pretty good number.
Yeah, I couldn't afford all of them.
Okay, so yes.
So, I can do that. Arcane Lock, I will have already done it. The other problem with Arcane Lock is it consumes 25 GP worth of gold dust every time you do one.
does it say consume?
It does say consume.
Then it does consume.
I
Because
have
there are quite a
so-
few that give you a gold piece and it says you burn it, but it doesn't say you consume, so I find that amusing.
I set light to it. I just pour some oil on it, burning. Yeah.
I wave it about and blow it out.
Yeah, exactly right. But no, I've been very careful to make sure that the ones that have consume in the description, I've got listed as consume.
And again, I think it's because some of them didn't,
Yeah.
pay attention to what everyone else was doing.
Yes. Then you get things like lair sense, where the material component is an amount of treasure. The point of lair sense is to not use the treasure up. Because it's a dragon spell.
Okay, so the
So,
cart
yeah,
is
I can
being
do that.
locked.
That would have been locked last night.
Well, we didn't discover it till this morning.
Okay, this first thing
You
this
had
morning-
time.
The moment I discovered it would have been, bloody hell, I better lock that up.
Okay. So what level did you cast it at?
Well, it's the same component cost anyway round,
And it's the scary cart.
and it's the
Yes,
scary card.
Because it doesn't increase in
in
cost with levels, but it does reduce your maximum hit points for the day by 5 times the level you cast it at.
Yes, which means if I do it at a 5th level spell, that's 1/4 of my hit points.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right, you're squishy.
I'm a bit squishy.
You're a bit squishy.
I've got a pretty good con for a caster.
You can choose to cast Greater Restoration to restore that, but that's 100
That's
gold pieces
another
each time you
100
do it.
gold pieces at a time,
Yeah.
and that has its own ritual cost.
Yes.
So I'd be
Oh, no,
casting the same.
actually, Greater Restoration doesn't have a ritual cost because it can be cast as an action.
Only if I learn it as that way.
But Dracnoa should have it.
Yeah, and I do have access to it as a warlock. I think yes, I do actually because I'm a celestial warlock. I have restoration, so I could actually cast it as a level 5 spell, as a spell. But yeah, it cost a bunch to do it.
So, level what
You're
arcane
rich,
lock?
right?
I will, given what it is, I will actually do it as a level 5. Because it increases the DC to open or pick it. And someone would have to cast Knock as a 5th level, as a level 5 spell.
We don't want to,
No,
though.
no. This is for anyone trying to break in.
Just because you can do it doesn't mean we want you to do it straight away.
I
Yeah.
thought as a part of it, he needed someone.
No.
What's the DC at a level 5?
It's the same DC, but they need to cast it with a spell slot of a 5th level spell.
Yeah.
For
No. The DC
Oh,
for
yeah.
doing this. My DC is, from memory, 18. Give me a sec. There's so many different things I have to look up.
So if you cast it as a 5th level spell, you make the DC.
There's 2 higher for each higher than base. My base DC for spells is 20. So it becomes 28.
Because even if your spell save DC was lower, the base was still 20.
Yeah.
So if you had a spell DC of 12, it would still be 20 plus 8.
Yeah.
Because that's the benefit of it. And if you actually have physical lock, a masterwork lock, and you cast it on top of
it'd
it,
be
you
even
get the
better
bonus
again.
on it.
Yeah, because
It-
they'd have to get
it
through
would
the
have
lock as
been-
well as my knock spell.
It would have been 18 on top of the DC of the lock,
That's right.
as long as the lock was at least 20.
Yes. But someone would have to either use a 5th level or higher knock spell or hit nearly 30 on lock picking.
I mean, lockpicking is doable.
For someone at your skill level,
Yes.
most people are going to be like 1st to 5th level.
Yeah.
Ain't no way in hell.
And you also notice that Drazzle's locks have no keyholes.
No, because
Yeah.
they're physical arcane locks.
Physical version of the actual
Yeah,
arcane lock.
and basically an enchanted version.
Yeah.
And probably done at about the level of what I've just cast.
Okay, so.
So yes, you can actually bring Calcrix along if Calcrix wishes to come.
Yeah.
I always go by the rule that if Martin says if Calcrix wishes to come, it's GM for Calcrix should go.
Well, it'll give you something to do as a player.
No, usually it's him hinting that I should go. So
Well, that
I'm
too.
gonna go.
Oh yeah.
So Calcrix, Lowell, Father Pat, and Drakima are going to visit the Wizard King.
Yep.
Lani, Saker, and Nadar are staying in the room.
Yep.
And so they...
Wonderful, wonderful.
And I was about to say they follow the yellow brick road up the tree.
I did like that in your message, by the way.
I will even skip.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so reaching the upper area, you'll find that you're not led into the King's Chamber like you were last time, but you're led into what looks to be a balcony overlooking most of the main thoroughfare of the kingdom.
Yeah.
As the main road leads up to the central tree, and sitting here overlooking the balcony appears to be the Queen.
Promise me the king's not warming up. He's doing warming exercises for his vocal cords.
If he's doing a different room, I don't mind.
Well, it also has the benefit of if they don't like you, there's not a far way to move you out of their place.
So the King's not there, the Queen
The
is.
Queen is there.
I can always use a catapult spell and throw him over the edge, but hey.
So Boring Man is not there.
And
Boring Man's wife is.
and she is dressed in what looks to be leather armor.
Adventuring gear.
Well,
My
Adventuring gear or military gear?
immediate
Military
feeling
gear.
is that this is a much more respectful, reasonable person.
Yes, my guess so. Otherwise, she'd have been dressed in full formal queen gear.
and has what looks to be twin rapiers, multiple swords, short swords, daggers.
She's an
Golf cart
ex-adventurer.
and +3 longsword, +2 flame greatsword. Yeah, in the old.
And the retractable great spear.
And the 10-foot pole.
So-
The 10-foot pole.
No, that's the other end of the spectrum.
And from Father Pat's perspective, she looks like what you would expected a sergeant of the guards to
Except
move.
except
Basically, the presence they have of, unlike those who are the officers don't always have the stance of someone who knows what they're doing.
yeah.
This one does.
This person is moving like she knows what she's up to. She's dressed like she knows what she's up to. And she's an adventurer's collection of weapons. Not a military person, because they have one main arm, one sidearm, one range weapon, and that's basically it.
That
And
is Father
That's all
Pat.
you need.
Heavy crossbow
That's
on
what I'm
back.
saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. She isn't that, is my point.
Yes.
Whereas Sega has
Yeah.
knife.
See?
Sabers.
Hey, I've got 2 swords, a
Crossbow.
shield, and my main weapon is a magic stick.
And I'm thinking of the those people who have the Wheel
And-
of Time with 3 spears strapped to their back.
Oh, yeah, they're adventurers. They've got different magic weapons for different purposes.
And when she sees you come, she waves the guards away.
I do proper formal greeting. Short version.
She says, unnecessary.
Father Pat merely nods.
Just says, come, sit.
Calcrix is
I-
currently weighing up or having a look at, trying to size up, that's the word. Size up whether or not this is going to be an entirely different account. She thinks it is.
Definitely different. Definitely different. I did avoid the full formal version of the greeting.
She apologises for not being present the day before. She was busy at the front line. But she came back as quickly as she could.
As your duties demand.
Especially when she found out that the king was here alone talking to us.
That was unsaid but implied.
Yes, I'm not going to make any mention of it whatsoever, but yes, everyone knows what was not just said.
Calcrix is not going to be a fancy arranged marriage, was it?
It may still be a love match. Doesn't stop him being a git. To everyone
As in,
else.
get out of here.
But besides having a long-winded speech giver and someone who can actually get things done, makes a good pairing.
Yes. Yes.
Opposites attract.
Well, it's like
good
the
arranged
king.
marriage.
It's like the king and queen of the pirates.
Yep.
Same thing, except the other way around. He's a twit. He's not a git, but he's a twit. She is everything you'd expect the pair of them to be together.
So she says, So that starts off with greetings. Thank you for seeing again. She's arranged for the king to be off doing something important.
Of course, as he should be doing, as his duties demand.
He's giving speeches to the troops to inspire them.
Meanwhile, there was a
I
mutiny in the
do
9th
hope-
Regiment.
With the understanding that if they're not inspired, they come back for more speeches.
I do hope there is a counsellor on hand.
Several councillors.
Patrick's asked, what did the army do wrong to be treated in this manner?
Oh, well, these are the underperforming members, and all the underperforming members get brought in for speeches.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'd work a heck of a lot
No, no, no.
harder if I was
No,
exposed to that
this is the thing.
speech.
This is punishment because
Yeah.
they're the ones that are the reason why
No,
she
I got
was
that.
still out on the front.
Yeah.
It's their
I
fault.
got that.
It's a classic technique. The meeting will continue until morale improves.
Well, there's that too.
Exactly.
And plus, they don't want us to damage the bodies, but hey, if the mind gets a bit of a beating, hopefully that he can take it out on the opposition.
Yeah, I certainly would.
So strife reduction by violence. A nice meditative day-long battle will do you good, right?
Anything to get out of it.
It's got to be better than listening to the Git, so.
Oh yes. Let us go and beat up the bad guys to avoid being spoken to by the king.
I will fight to the death. Never do this again.
I will fight against from the speeches.
I would rather die than get that.
We will fight them not on the speeches.
But hey, she says that the speeches do inspire them to work better.
I can see that. How considerate of you.
And very few of them come back for multiple speeches.
For various reasons.
I feel sorry for the people who are too dumb and not hardworking enough.
No, it's more things like, if they're not going to win to avoid the speech, they're going to die to avoid the speech.
Well, if they're back for multiple speeches, it implies that...
That means that, well, that just means the CO's been in trouble.
Yes, and
Everyone gets punished when the CO's make a mistake.
as far as the king's concerned, he's rewarding the best of these soldiers.
Yeah, well, that's what he's been told. Certainly. Well, he's the best soldiers that he can possibly speak to. That's our definition of them.
And each of them gets a personal one-on-one day with him.
Lucky them.
How to make fanatics.
Patrick's is starting to wonder if this actually gets defined as torture.
Yeah, it's psychological warfare on your own troops.
Well, she says that since she implemented that, they've been holding their own.
Yes.
Yes.
You can charge over there at the 100 orcs, or you can go and listen to the king.
I'm already over there.
Exactly.
So,
Let me at them.
I'm sure it's stated the last person to leave this spot has to, and then...
if you're not there to receive an order, the order doesn't get given to you. There's that as an advantage.
As they say.
So she
I'm
is...
writing notes for this bit.
She is hoping that you're able to help the elves, not that she believes they deserve it, but there are some redeeming qualities.
Is she an elf?
She is an elf.
Cool.
She is a high elf.
We are heroes. We are here to help.
She gathers and she gathers you're all heroes, not just the elven high elf.
All of the members of this party are members of my clan and therefore officially high elves.
She doesn't care. She believes that they're all
No,
worthy of
that's
being a
fine.
hero.
Yes, I'm just saying from the point of view, I'm not having a go at your position. And I don't think it's a position your husband would understand in any way, shape or form. But we'll have it there just for the record.
Yes.
Clarification, is Seika part of your clan yet?
Oh yeah.
If you wish to be inducted as a member of my clan,
One of my forms might not mind it.
I know at least one of your forms would not mind it at all for a couple of different reasons.
Yep.
So pick the right day of the week and I'll ask.
And she says that she is hopeful that the group of you, not just the one person who the king believes is the group.
No, it's me plus my staff. I understand his view.
I'm very glad Saker isn't here yet.
Is able to help them out because they have been fighting a losing war against the undead hordes. And they know it's losing because basically while they're holding their own, it's not a long-term solution.
No, because...
Of course, yes. If Paul had said that to the Queen and him and his staff, Dracula might have looked across and said, "You flipped it."
No, I actually said that, but I made it obvious that I was doing it solely to the point of view of the king. The king understands that I have a staff. He just doesn't appreciate them as people. But that's not my view. That's why I said what I did beforehand.
Yes, the fact that the king doesn't understand anything of other than a high elf is anything other than a pet.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's the thing. The Queen and I are both playing to what we know as what the king is like.
This is all pointed barbs towards the king. It's an entire discussion of pointed barbs towards the king.
It is, and it's generating a
camaraderie.
A camaraderie and a connection with the Queen.
She is hoping that if you can find the Elven Star, which is the gemstone that...
So she said if you could find
the Elven Star, the gemstone that she believes was stolen and taken north, but they have no proof it actually went there.
Crix wants to do like a how trustworthy is the Queen judgment check.
Well, you probably wouldn't.
Insight.
You probably wouldn't want to tell her about it in the nation.
No. Wait till she joins us out of the front line and then tell her.
Sorry, I don't want to tell her what.
You wouldn't want to tell her about the gemstones.
No, I'm not planning to tell her about the gemstones. I'm not planning to give her any actual real information at all. I just want to engage her in a discussion, and I don't know if it's a discussion I even want to engage in just yet, unless I feel... Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just pausing it long enough for you to actually finish the...
To find my dice?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I don't know, it keeps going walkabouts.
Well, my response is, if it can be found, we will find it.
I also want to know what
if I find it, you may not know about it.
Can't be found.
Well, I also wanted to finish what she was saying.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
you kept wanting to interject, so I keep stopping.
Sorry, I didn't realise you hadn't finished.
She was unsure if the gem would actually help them.
That is another thing.
Because while it can repel undead, it does come at a cost.
Does it attract them as well?
No, it drains their trees of life.
Ah, right. So finding an alternative is, for several reasons,
A good idea.
the better way to go.
Well, she has also learnt from many of the other clans that the trees of life have the capacity to do the same thing the gem was doing.
Without draining themselves.
As long as they're not being drained.
Mm.
The power they accumulate, which can be called upon, is what keeps the undead at bay.
Would Llewell know about this from his research into trees of life?
From my research, and from, if I want me to make a history check, do I know this is accurate?
You do know it's accurate, and you also learnt from Dimitri that when you have multiple trees of life within proximity, they create good and bad points in magic.
As with Alfheim.
Yes, that's what caused the magic to go haywire in Alfheim, the fact they had 7 trees.
Yeah, but if you've got one tree in a location, it's fine, because they're not interacting with each other.
But there are 3 clans in Wendar.
One tree good, 2 trees not good enough.
Three
trees really not good.
And there are 3 in Wendar. And there is another 2 incoming, at least, if not more.
The trees?
Yes.
Yeah, because the other
Trees.
clans are
Well-
coming here.
The ones from
The
Alfheim
de-
are migrating to Wendar.
Yeah.
So the red arrows
we
in the
want-
floating forest.
Quite a
Have
few
it,
others
and
as
they bring
well.
their tree with them.
Yes,
Yeah.
because if they leave the tree behind, the master touches it, all the elves die.
Yeah. They
So
cannot.
there's a
leave-
giant pot plant.
Yes, they can't leave it behind.
Right, okay.
But that's why Bialadil is travelling. It's basically a piece of jungle the size of a town.
Right.
Because they're moving the whole tree. with
Each
their
clan
big-
is moving the tree in a different way.
Yes.
Yeah. And
And it's
coming
one
to
of the
Wendar is probably the worst thing they can do right now.
And each tree of life is much like the Asgardian or Norse world tree,
Yeah.
but specifically tied to the elves.
So it is like the Tree of Life out of
Well,
Avatar.
The yeah, well, that's taken from
Oh,
the
those
Norse,
sort of
Norse
lines.
stories.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you agree.
Yeah. Basically, the Great Tree of Life that all the Elven trees of life are connected to is actually the main version of Yggdrasil.
Yeah.
They're sort of offshoots of it.
And they're each basically considered part of the world tree.
Yeah.
And in Karamikos at the moment there are 4,
Mm.
which is causing problems.
Yes, they've got their first bad magic point there.
Mm. Fun.
And 2 of them were there before all of this.
I'm just a soldier.
And 2 of them will not move.
Don't need to worry a thing about this.
No, but you're helping the people who are worrying about it. Because on that,
So she does.
I have
She
to
also
go in-
does comment on that. The benefit of using the gem was the trees weren't interacting with each other, creating ley lines.
but it was still draining the trees.
Yes.
So it was harmful anyway.
It wasn't harmful. It was just preventing the negative effects of the trees of life.
Do I know enough to know how far the trees have to be from each other?
That is unknown because they've never actually researched that.
Dimitri knows.
They believe it's the belief is that if they're in the same forest boundary, they interact
Mm-hmm.
because the forest can be considered one entity.
That's
And because Wendar is one big garden,
yes,
they're
It's
all
a single-
in the same forest.
it is literally a forest because forest is a governed woodland.
Yeah, no. Seika does
So-
not agree with that. Seika
No,
is
no.
a garden.
No. Well, that's the thing. A forest is a garden made out of a woodland.
Yeah.
That is what a forest is. Whether it's got trees or not, you can have a forest that doesn't have trees. Just normally not.
But basically,
It's-
Wendar is one big forest that currently
Yes.
has 3 trees of life
and it's
and is
they-
about to get 2
And,
more.
and potentially getting another 4 to 6.
Yeah. And
4
the
to
only,
6?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the only way this would actually not lead to bad stuff is us putting barriers between different sections of the forest to make it 3 different ones, which ain't going to happen.
Whole bunch of roundup.
It could happen.
That's a lot of roundup.
Can't you create?
Wednesday night's trying to lure one of the the clans that are in Karamikos down to the southern continent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A positive for the southern continent
Yeah.
and a positive for Karamikos.
Yeah. Well, I'll work on the. Each tree must have its own forest, or it's going to cause problems
Yes, but it also
as a
creates,
basis.
but it also creates the good magic points at the same point.
Not the problem and not the point. It's better to have no good points if you have no bad points rather than have one of each. Because there was, 2 entire clans whose entire existence was fighting the stuff coming out of the bad points.
Yeah.
That's not how we want to live. It's not how we want people to live.
That is true.
There are other ways to get good magic.
Well, they don't exploit the good magic. That's
No.
also the other thing.
Yeah, well, that's the other. So they're not taking advantage of what's there and then going, oh, they've got all this good stuff. No, it doesn't matter. So it's going to be a lot of. I'm going to have to do a lot of really strenuous talking, or talk to somebody else to do it.
And hey, very soon you'll be the only tree attached to the Elven Forest of Alfheim.
Yes. Which will still be forest because it'll still be managed even though it's not a green leafy woodland.
Depending on...
Well, it depends what we grow there. Because as I said, we could go baobab trees, there's a bunch of other stuff. It could still be a green woodland. It'll just be a lot drier.
or wetter.
Or possibly a little drier with swampy bits.
You could be mangroves and
Yeah.
build houses in the roots.
Exactly. We could still do elves living in the woodlands.
You could be a grassland.
That's actually one of the things it wouldn't be. Well, actually, some of it's going to be something similar to a savanna. So yeah, you get some grassy bits, but it's not going to be green dense woodland.
Basically,
Thing.
besides the tree issue, she is hoping you're able to at least convince the Shadow Lord to stop sending his forces south.
Definitely something that's.
She doesn't care how you convince him.
No, well, that's fair.
If it ends up with the Shadow Lord getting incinerated, well, that's a
That's his
final
bad
resort.
I do have. We do have several methods for doing that particular outcome.
But she has no wish to basically annihilate another people just to stop them annihilating the elves.
Yes, but annihilating undead doesn't count.
They're not all undead.
Yeah, so we want to annihilate the not undead.
And
Just the undead and the people making them.
and she just says to be careful you do not anger the Lady of Darkness who protects the undead.
We have ways around that one too.
Because you're currently walking around with one of her servants.
Yes.
We're
So
walking
are
around with
we-
one of whose servants?
The lady
Nix's.
Nix's servants.
You.
Oh, right. Yeah. I object
So-
to the term servant.
She's not referring to Calcrix.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's
Sorry,
twig.
what was that?
the twig.
Oh, yeah. Well, it also objects to the term servant, but in a different way.
He still is one though.
She hopes that if you can at least give them something else to deal with, they may actually stop their invasion long enough for their trees to actually start putting out their magic again.
We point him at the master and say, "Look, go and attack him. He's trying to rip off your stick."
Yes, though if they do that, they'll be coming en masse south
Well, yeah,
because the
they join
master's
up.
currently south, and they would be crossing through Galantry to get there,
That would be
or
messy in
Ethengar,
several ways.
or the Ethengarians, which would probably cause much upset if they decide to invade in return.
Yes. So yes, we'll work something out and we'll definitely check a map on the way.
They do say that officially they have no maps of the region, mainly because elves don't like to go north.
That's fair.
Wendar is their northernmost settlement.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it does line up fairly well with the Sylvan Realm to the west.
Wendar or
Wendar and the Sylvan Realm are about the same
Yep.
line in the globe.
Yeah. Same longitude.
Any further north and it starts to get too cold.
Latitude, sorry. Yeah. Yes. We have ways of getting new maps though.
And you'll find that any map you make of Denagath will change overnight.
The map would change or what?
Yes, the map will
picks?
change.
Okay. We have a map for that.
For some reason, it does obfuscate anything recorded about it, including legends or text.
Mm-hmm.
The painting on the map do not reflect painting reality.
That's
Yep.
right. However,
And things you remember writing may be different or disappear completely.
yes. However, we have a rather special map which might be able to see through that.
possible, but if it is magic itself, it may go blank. Most of their magic maps have reported absolutely nothing of the region.
So is this a...
I believe this Riddler is not saying don't rely on maps.
Yeah.
So is this a map she's given us or a map she's telling us about?
Map she's telling you about.
Right.
Basically, the reason why they have no official maps of the region is that maps are unreliable.
Yeah.
And legend lore of the Shadow Lord or his nation come back with gibberish or false stories.
Oh. Anyone high enough level to have legend lore done on them is probably going to have a bunch of scribes writing out all sorts of crap about them.
Doesn't appear to be written by scribes or anywhere. They've never been able to find a source of any of the legends they've gotten back.
Calcrix didn't do legend lore on the Lady of Vengeance last night?
No, she hasn't done legend lore on the Lady of Vengeance because she hasn't had the opportunity to. She was going to ask Calcrix about her, but Calcrix is Drazzle. She's going to ask Drazzle about it because obviously they're siblings.
It is incommunicado right now.
But when she gets the opportunity, she's actually going to contact the Great One, which is also one of her siblings.
She does say that she hopes you can sort out this issue soon because they don't know if they can hold out another winter.
We will definitely do what we can.
We had a previous group of heroes come through. They had a artifact that repelled undead. Then they gave it to a black dragon who flew up with it.
Oh, so
Black Razor.
the Lady of Vengeance may indeed have one of the green jewels.
Well, it was a great sword.
Oh, a great sword, sorry.
Yes.
Hard to hear from
Yeah.
down here.
He
I
didn't
hadn't
actually
made that
say it was a
connection.
great sword. He just said
Lady of
item.
Vengeance, Black Dragon, Black Razor. I knew about both those things. I hadn't connected them.
Black Razor.
Still pretty
Very
annoyed.
scary.
And Black Razor cannot
Lady
be
of Vengeance might
stolen.
have it.
Black Razor can only be given. Or you have to kill the owner in a point that the sword doesn't keep bringing them back.
Yes, it must either be given or have no owner.
Yeah. And so the person gave it.
Yeah. So whoever did that needs to be hit with a stick.
Well, the undead then swarmed them and killed them.
Okay, so the stick hitting is going to be okay.
You may find them serving the enemy in your travels.
So they get punished twice.
Is that going to be off-putting for... Well, no, Dimitri's not with them. Right, with us, right.
Well, and Dimitri's not part of that group anyway.
Yeah,
No.
they were all elves.
It was a different Wednesday night group.
It was an alternate one that was going to do a story about an elven fight to save the elven nation, except they then gave away their only protection.
I did ask about if there was a why, and the answer was basically no. Someone made a decision on the fly, and it was a bad one.
Yeah.
If you ask the
Well,
king, he'll tell you.
the point is also that there wasn't any survivors to report on the reasons.
Yeah, I'm talking about the players.
I believe the player enjoyed being a Chaos Goblin.
Yeah.
Was this the one that rolled?
He was one who believed in rolling.
Right.
He did believe in rolling for where he could do stuff, but he didn't do it for that occasion. He just gave it away. For some reason, the players believe chaotic neutral means they get to roll charts to determine what the character does, so we don't actually need them at the table.
Yeah.
No, I've played multiple chaotic neutral characters, and none of them had that.
Well, when I referred to them as the AI player, they got a little offended.
Yeah, I
Just call
should
him the
have,
bot for short.
yeah, I should have said something along that line to a person I used to know who used to do that. The character, not the player, or the player would as well, but the character would roll a die at the beginning of combat to determine which side she was on.
It's not counting neutral, that's counting stupid.
Yeah.
Yes, that's basically the thing.
That's basically, I'm the party pinata. Why? Because they're all going to beat me up at one occasion to see what's inside.
Yes. Why would anyone want to adventure with someone like that more than after the first bloody combat?
Yes.
Or the first encounter that involved them going, oh, I'm going to roll a die to see what side I'm on.
And then
I'm with the bandits.
And then this chaotic neutral happily sleeps with the party and then doesn't wake up the next time.
That's like the paladin who met the small children around the fountain. Well, I believe in your world are very, very good cooks.
So yes.
Yeah.
She says, is there anything else you would like to know before going? Hoping you can set off sometime today.
We know the direction
We
we need
were
to head in.
North.
We know roughly how far before we might catch up with them.
have a-
Father Pat is asking a whole bunch of military type questions now.
They had stolen it over 4 years ago, so it
so that's
could
not
be
useful.
it could literally be anywhere. There's no trail to follow.
Okay.
We're holding up.
What do we know about the enemies? Operations, so forth and so on.
They know that they love using undead, especially those of who they've killed.
Right. Do we know
And
anything about the defences? Are they relatively skilled undead, or are they just zombie type undead?
they've not actually had the forces to retaliate and push into their lands.
Right, okay.
So
We're
they're
leading
so
the
I-
charge.
Yeah.
The last group they sent went beyond their capacity to help.
And didn't come back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Do we know how, do we know anything about how the undead are armed?
They usually have two, she says.
Okay, so
So it's either basically nil or random.
yeah.
Do you
It's
have
usually-
a usable map of Wendar we can use and or a guide?
They do basically show you a map of the nation
Cool.
with the ability to follow the trees almost in a specific order to get out because, well, you can guarantee they're north to south, east and west in rows.
So we would know about we would know about the vampire war to the south.
Yeah.
Do we know anything about the leaders of these undead? Are they vampires? Are they
The one to the north is the Shadow Lord.
right.
The ones to the south are Vampire Lords.
And what is the difference between a Shadow Lord and a Vampire Lord?
They don't know because they have no idea what the
Okay.
Shadow Lord
Alright.
is because magic will not tell them.
Right.
Plus,
Lich, it's a lich, it's a...
yeah, that legend lore is pointless when you get a result that is
Shadow
meaningless.
Okay, so we're going on.
Whereas if they tried to get a legend lore on the Master, for example, they'd get blank books
Yes.
because there's nothing to find. Whereas in this case, it's gibberish. It's not even someone making up stuff. It's literally they've somehow found a way to corrupt any legend lore done on them.
Yeah, it's similar to the effects of an amulet against against detection.
Oh, proof it.
But this is a larger effect, and it's to mess senses up rather than make it impossible.
Yeah, so everything about what's in that nation that you use divination to find comes back with gibberish.
Yeah.
So diviners are going to have a hard time using their powers in Denagath.
So to quote Sergeant Schultz, I know nothing.
I'm not there, but I have a player question for the DM.
Yeah.
My troop
Thing is,
and
even
connected
commune
troops
isn't working, which
have
would
been
something
to the
very
place we're
weird
going to. Is the place we're going to in
going. Is it
Denagath?
protected by an immortal?
I don't know if they've actually been in Denagath because it's a very nasty place.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Have they actually ventured in?
I'm not sure if they've gone far north of the known world because the known world region is doesn't have a huge draw.
No, I don't mean the circus.
Yeah.
We established last session that a group of Count Zeggi's people had searched the what was the name of it? A winery?
Which is the
Wines.
Wines Winery. That is in Galantry to the south of you.
Okay, so they haven't gone this far.
They haven't gone this far north. They've basically gone wherever rumors had them.
Do we
Okay.
know roughly how far? Do we know anything about where the stone might have been or gone?
Well, the stone was on the top of this tree that you're in now.
Right, and it's not
Yeah.
there now.
As it is the center of their people, it also was where all the trees of life were connected.
So we've got to go hunting this thing, and we're just heading off into the darkness without knowing
Basically,
great
well,
information.
as she said, it's been 4 years. It can be absolutely anywhere.
How
which
will we
means-
know when we see it?
Basically, it is a life that generates life, and you touch it, it will make you feel younger, and may even make you younger.
And what? Yeah, actually, one of the things to look
Yeah,
for.
wearing nappies doesn't strike me
One
as
of
a
the
good
things.
idea.
One of the things to look for is someone that the undead are avoiding.
And also in an area of corruption, an area that is uncorrupted,
Yeah.
because it literally burns away corruption, even in people.
Mm.
This sounds an awful lot like the Black Flame.
Not quite the same as the Halfling's relic, which is
That's
completely different.
yeah.
And the Halfling's relic is a gift from their gods, and this gemstone may have passed through their lands, is not created by them.
It's similar descriptors.
It is very similar descriptors, but the Halfling relic doesn't create life.
Mm.
It's not a life-giving relic. It's something that
Yeah.
reverses the effects of entropy.
Yeah.
So
Which is
if you
pretty
put a burnt log in the black flame, it slowly restores it as it's burning it.
Yeah.
So it's adding the
Yeah,
wood back.
it's
to it.
not pro-life. It's anti-destruction.
Yes.
Which implies it's a temporal effect.
It is.
Mm.
It also pushes undead 8 miles that way.
Specifically 8 miles.
Yes.
Each of the relics will push them 1 hex away.
And,
I was about to say it's a hex. Yeah.
and it almost fell into the hands of Bargle.
Would have been a little bad.
Yeah, no, we stopped it. Without having to fight him.
Even better.
And then they got a thank you from Bargle, each getting a cursed item.
I'm happy with my curse. It's a very nice weapon. And a holy relic for me.
Right.
For Hildren, not Seika.
Okay, so is there anything else you would ask of her before you go?
Do we need, when we find said stone,
Yep.
Do we need a receptacle to carry it in?
She says,
Because I suspect putting it in my pocket's not the world's best idea. Assuming I can. How big is said stone?
the stone is about the size of a large grapefruit.
Right, okay. So I could put it in my pocket if I wanted to.
Yes.
But
Well,
does it need shielding or anything like that?
If you were to be holding the stone, no one dead will be able to come within proximity to touch you.
Right.
And their magic has no effect on you.
Is it?
If you just carry the item, you do not get any benefits from it.
Hmm.
But
And it's hard to detect, which means we don't have to worry about people detecting it much.
No. But I'm worried, do we need to protect ourselves from it in some way, shape, or form? Is it
No.
going
She is unsure because the only person who touched the stone was the king and the tree of life.
And we know, well...
It probably
Was the
did-
king
Margaret very
as loquacious as he did before he touched it?
Oh, she would have told us if it had changed him.
Well,
Yeah.
but it's also the sort of thing that if it is the sort of thing that makes you younger, if the old king got younger by a dozen years, who'd really notice?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. As an elven king, it might reduces his age by 300 years. We won't see for 300 years.
Well,
So, yeah.
he is
Exactly.
the first and only king of Wendar.
Whereas in the case of Father
He has been
Fat,
around for a bit.
you won't keep it in your pocket, you'll keep it in your handy.
Yeah, no, point just made. Something we did actually find out last session. The present King of Wendar is the first King of Wendar, and he's been king for a long time,
Yep,
even for an elf.
yep.
He's the longest serving elven king on record.
Yeah, and the stone may be the reason. But the thing is, living in the tree the stone was on top of may have been sufficient.
But he was also the only one who touched it.
Yeah,
Might be why he's so desperate to get it back.
he's not very desperate.
That's what he asked us to. He didn't
Oh,
ask us to stop the
he asked-
army.
No, he didn't inform us. Oh, okay, he was being
He asked us
overly
to get the
formal
gem
about
back.
yeah. Yeah.
She's
Because-
asking us to stop the army.
Yeah,
He's
but
asked us to get
yeah.
the gem back.
But from his point of view, if he gets the gem back, that will stop the army because he can stop the army. At least that's his view.
It also might be because it
That-
extended his life and he wants to
What?
stay with power.
Yes.
You cynic, you.
Well, no, both,
Seika!
no, there is nothing wrong with both things being true,
No, there
and
isn't.
they probably are true.
And the thing is, he's as a king serving his people,
Hmm.
and he's more than happy to take whatever sacrifices it needs to serve his people.
Yeah,
But he's only serving his people, no other people.
yeah,
So in the elven tradition, he's doing what they want, and they're more than happy for him to keep leading by doing that.
yep. Which is why there's never been a
Can we
revolution
give him a
against
case of
him.
laryngitis?
He's got clerics around.
Well, I'm just thinking he can think he's speaking, but nobody can hear him.
Ah,
That's a silent spell.
I'm sure
Yes.
that's called earwax for all the other people.
ah.
I have used that on somebody
That's
before.
silent spell half. Everyone else gets earwax.
I've used
Create a
silence
great
on
object.
Ildren's used silence on an annoying person before.
Oh yeah.
Ambassador of Yalaran.
Oh well.
To
Yeah,
Karamakos.
I can see that.
Well, he was extremely sexist and very denigrative
Condescending.
towards the other people.
So he deserved it.
She ended up in a group of other powerful women who just started playing tricks on him constantly,
So-
and he wouldn't acknowledge their
Well,
existence.
It's his own fault for being a failure of a diplomat.
Is there anything else we need to know before we go flying?
Not that I can think of. There's
can't
probably
think
going
of
to be 3 things that we'll find out after we get there.
Yes, I'm the similar view, but
That's
I can't
all
think
right.
of them.
Yes, but now we've encountered the Queen, we can use ascending to ask her.
That's true, yes.
Though she does say you should seek a place that she's heard multiple times called Gareth Minor. Not that any of their laws can tell you what that place is,
Yeah.
because
There it is.
it's supposed to be somewhere in Dengar, and she believes it is their capital. But
So we've got a name to aim for.
yeah,
Okay.
but as far as she can tell, it's the only settlement of any size there.
Yeah, you don't need cities for lots of undead. I'm presuming they've got one city, a bunch of farms, and undead standing around lining fields.
She's not even sure they have farms. She
No,
doesn't know if
possibly.
anything can grow there.
That is actually a thing.
One did
That many. Yeah, but they've got living people there as well.
Right.
That's the thing. But if they can't grow anything because everything's death aspected, then
The living people aren't living for very long.
well, that's the whole thing. Conquest of other places is the only way they can get any food.
Yeah.
Because they've got nothing they can export except undead. Not many people want that.
What's the tariff
The
on
master
undead?
class.
Right, right.
We're going to aim at 100%.
Just checking.
See, 105 because we want to take out the leader as well.
Okay.
So
How will we get to said place? Do we know this? Are we going to
we have our own transport.
have our transport? We're flying.
So she says that you follow the path north. Luckily, because of the king, all the trees are lined up perfectly.
It's
Yes.
his fault.
It's all the king. Of course,
He-
it's all the
He
king.
personally planted every tree.
Oh, you gods.
and measured and planted.
And talk to each tree as it grew.
And then managed to make it get up and move when it wasn't precisely in the right location.
I love animatory.
I'm not sure you should tell this to Seiko when you get back.
No, I can mention we could use animate. Like I can mention we can get a bunch of people using animate tree to put them out of line to make it look natural.
Yes, but unlikely to be left that way.
Well, at least with the king in control. And hey, he may be an ass. What's the thing? He may be an ass, and he may be ridiculously OCD, but he's effective.
And not a single member of the nation goes hungry or uneducated or looked after.
Everything is properly
I
in
don't know.
control.
If you wanted to give
everything's
that army
regulated.
of his a break from all those speeches, you just move every single tree out of alignment that you couldn't. Keep him so busy that you wouldn't have time to lecture the poor guy.
Well, if she says if she didn't have a war, that's what she'd be back to doing.
Get back, yes. I can see that.
Of course,
as a
I'm only joking. I'm not actually going to move all their trees.
She's
out
not
of alignment.
joking. She did it when there was.
We've got more important things to do.
Yeah, well, the other thing is that's one cast per tree, and it's going to take a while.
And it's also wherever they need the king to help is where they move the trees.
Yeah.
He then spends a lot of time making sure that place is perfect, looked after.
Why is
Everyone's
the king not going in there looking for this bloody greatness?
Well, no, this is the thing. That it's this is called manager management,
And he's not good at fighting.
They're guiding the king to where the king needs to do king things, and they're doing it effectively. And he's doing a good job.
And he's
As I said,
extremely good.
manager management.
He's just an extremely good bureaucrat.
Yeah, he's really good at what he does. Being a king and not being a war leader. That's what he's right for. So, good separation of abilities. There's a great man.
Last time he took control of one of the legions, they became ineffective because they were too busy making sure everything lined up properly.
And everyone was properly hairbrushed and everything. All the hair was lined up.
And they were missions. They're marching exactly.
Yeah, of course they were. They're just not going out and doing combat because that's messy. Can't be doing that.
Old King Kong.
King
So he marched his men up to the top of the hill. He marched them down.
Yeah,
Well,
but he
the-
didn't
the
necessarily
wind-
do it in straight lines.
The Wendarian army is known for its precision. Not because they're good, just because they're, well, drilled.
If that's the thing. If properly led, they're brilliant troops because they're so very disciplined. You know exactly how they're going to act. They're going to do exactly what you want.
You will march in a straight line.
With a right,
The king
with
will
a
talk
good
to you.
leader. That's the thing, though. He's got them trained up to make it really useful for the Queen to use them as troops. He's the trainer. She's the military person. It works well as a combo.
So she gives you directions on which road to follow, which is
Yep.
very simple. Take the northern road from this as she points. You see a dead straight road just heading north.
What is road made of?
The road is basically made out of bricks with a tinting of gold in the light.
I'm currently wishing that Seiko would probably be wishing if she knew about it, and she probably does, that she had hallucinatory terrain just to fuck with him on the way out.
Okay.
And then she says, if you ever want to get back to the tower, just follow the yellow bricks. And you'll find the wizard at the top.
Oh, yes.
Give me 10 minutes.
At least the Wizard in Wizard of Oz was entertaining.
Yes.
Yeah. Differently ineffective. But yes, I do have hallucinatory terrain.
And she does ask not to mess with things until after the undead army starts.
Oh yeah, we're not going to play around until after that. That's for celebration.
Boy,
time.
are we going to play!
Seiko is currently
when
sitting
there's
in the
the-
shadow, imagining everything she could do to him.
Yes. But
No,
then,
you're
but that's
you're
the thing.
currently
There's going to be
guarding Drizzle.
Yes,
There
in
is
the
going to-
shadow, in front of Drizzle, imagining
There is-
things to do.
there is going to be a celebratory, a celebration afterwards, during which we can play with his head if we wish to, after checking with the Queen that it's okay. At which point, hallucinate terrain and make his entire castle look like it's upside down. Sorry, not quite upside down. Upside down 5 degrees off. Or just 5 degrees off.
Just to him. No, you can't make it just to him.
One of the things, you've watched the movie Beetlejuice?
Not the recent one, but I'm meaning to.
Okay, well, the original Beetlejuice.
Yes.
One of the things with that house, on the inside, not one right angle anywhere. Nothing parallel, no right angles, nowhere in the house.
So it was a hobbit hole.
So that's what we can do to his head. Right? It's exactly what he's
let's
normally
start
saying.
marching down
It's
this
just a
road.
little bit up.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you catch up with Seeker and Nadar
And Lani.
and Lani.
Yeah.
And we say we're heading that direction.
So, Drazzle's currently incapacitated. The cart is locked.
Mm-hmm.
The horse is a drake. What are we going to do about them? Are they coming with
Calgary
us?
will lift Drazzle up and put him on the cart
Yep.
where he can rest.
Mm.
And Horse will take care of everything else.
And bringing up the rear.
Horse will follow us and bring Drazzle along.
Has Seeker seen Horse at this point? I don't think so.
This would probably be the
Oh,
first.
we had a sketch.
Yeah.
I had a sketch,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, the sketch. Now you actually get to see how overly large Horse is when not in the illusion.
She
And
smiles
go,
widely.
ooh.
Horse
She
is
likes
big.
it, and she's trying not to go over and try and pat Horse.
Yeah.
Horse likes pats. You just got to be careful you still have your hand when you finish.
She respects a drake, but she really wants to pat him.
Yes. Yes, it's not one of those, if not French.
Just for awareness, guys, I don't know if Darby's having the same problem. I'm certainly losing some of the connection at the moment. So,
No, I seem to be okay.
you're good? Okay, shut the mind then. Fine.
It might just be the entire sending to Melbourne is having issues.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay, so only takes you about half an hour to get down to the forest floor.
Yeah.
And yes, it is a perfectly straight road with every tile placed perfectly.
The gutters are clean.
There are no gutters. It doesn't need them.
Seika puts her hood over her head
It's
and looks down.
slightly
And
curved and goes into nice flat grass that will just absorb all the water. Because the king.
Is anal. Alright, we're
Seika
marching
has
down said road.
hood up, eyes down, still aware. but
And
super
every tree
observant.
has a flower garden at the bottom of it.
And she is whispering bad things to herself. And if you listen closely, it is plans of what she would do to the king. And many, many things.
One for every tree.
Yes.
And there are lots of trees.
Some of them would take a lot of time. Some of them would be very short. Some would be uncomfortable. Some would be very painful.
Calcrix doesn't think you should take it out on the trees. But Calcrix also says, at least for all his boringness and tedium, he keeps his people fed and as safe as he can. And that cannot be said of other kings.
True.
Mm.
I will give you that.
Yes.
It is driving me insane.
Yes.
Do it up. Staring at the floor.
Calcrix agrees with you. She
So you're
don't
not
like
chaotic,
this
you're
situation,
anti-lawful.
but she has
So
to
you're
acknowledge.
anti-OCD.
Yes.
I am very anti-OCD.
Mm.
I
You're
grew up in a
talking about
circus.
Successful leader of a culture that survived for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Everything. My homeland is an overgrown forest/jungle. I grew up in a circus. Everything is organic, flowing, moving all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that because he disrespected her that Calcrix doesn't still want to give him a great big slack. But she will acknowledge that
Oh yeah, I'll acknowledge that
she
too.
won't permanently harm him
I'll acknowledge that
or
too.
be cruel.
A few bruises wouldn't go astray.
Just a little bit of education around dragon etiquette.
Oh, I have no
Happens
qualms
when
about
you
harming
don't.
him.
Yes. Most of the other elven rulers are very aware of dragons and will give them all respect.
because they prefer not to be lunch.
Until recently, you were one who definitely paid respect towards the elders. But Elder King was definitely your elder.
Can Nadar use minor illusion just to make like a proper organic flowing tree appear? Just a tiny one in front of Seeker. Are you Seeker, Jeff?
Yep, you can.
In front of Seeker, just to make her feelings just a little calmer. Because
So
Nadar doesn't really like
you have a southern
what's going
tree.
on, the look of everything either, but Seeker seems to be really upset by it.
I like the tree. I look at Nadar and say, "Can we move it with us?"
Well, it's an illusion. I think you could probably walk.
Is minor illusion stuck to a spot, or can
It's
it come
stuck
with
to a
us?
spot.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Some of the other higher level ones can move.
Yes. On the other hand, animate tree. You could have a tree walk along with you for a while.
Or forest army.
Not one of these ones. They're too topiary.
Forest army, you can turn the entire forest into a moving tree.
I give
Too bad
Nadar a
wood comes
hug
to
and say,
tonight.
"I'll be okay."
I could summon my aide to teleport here. No, I could summon my aide.
What would you like to
Yeah,
do?
sorry.
Can
Yeah.
you make yourself big and look like a walking tree? A particularly flowy walking tree.
Okay.
Rainbow colours.
So
Awesome.
you see a rather really sick and twisted version of a tree appear
Oh,
that basically makes your hair stand up,
right.
and you get a feeling of part of your mind just going, nope, no, no.
Well, actually, Seiko looks at it, looks at the other trees, and goes
Yeah,
walks
right.
next to it, closer to it.
Oh dear.
The closer you are to it, the more you don't have to look at it.
Oh, I have no problem looking at it. It's probably the best moment she's ever had with Eve. She doesn't mind dark and twisted.
Yeah.
She minds straight.
Yeah. Well, Eep is also doing something that is being
Kind.
helpful to you.
Yeah, it's kind. It's the closest she'll ever have been to her Eve because sorry, it's the first sign that Eve isn't just treating her as food.
Calbrix thinks this, she doesn't say this because she gets that you guys get it. She's like, Eve is only doing it because Calbrix asked her to. Eve doesn't give a fig about anyone else.
Yeah.
I know, but in this moment, it is comfort to
It's
say.
a nice illusion.
And you do notice as he passes by the trees, the flower beds just seem to die off.
Eve, can you not kill
No, that makes me
flowers?
happy.
I don't think he can't.
Well, in his tree form, he's pretty much eating the plants on the way past.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I think that's enough, Eve. We can just be normal Eve on my shoulder.
I've got visions of
I
giant.
tried.
Sort of the
I don't want to kill everything on the way
Monty Python. Having a wonderful time.
to where we're going.
I mean,
Hey, you might have to get a shrubbery.
Oh, I'm worried. I want a shrubbery.
Although, mind you, it might keep the king busy. But
yeah.
I'm not sure what the wider effect of
We-
killing masses amounts of
okay.
space of land
It would
wherever we
kill-
pass.
It would keep the king busy if he knew it was happening.
Oh,
so
he'd know.
wait till we're near him, and then
No, he'd know. It's his forest. He'd know.
And if I cast
Yeah,
minor
very
illusion on my palm, it won't move with the palm. It'll stay.
It would normally stay with what you cast it on, but
Yeah.
normally you have to cast it on a surface.
So if but I can't cast it on my
I
palm.
don't believe you can cast it on your hand.
You cast on a paving stone. Carry paving stone.
No, I'm not kidding,
No,
Nadar.
that's an item, not a
I
surface.
literally-
It's the way that D&D works.
Maika literally had a breakdown
You could have
outside the tree.
Look,
could
there's
do it
something
on the
that I
back.
can do that might distract you that won't
Oh,
follow
we
you
got a
around
cat.
that. There's
We'll
that-
cast
that's
on the
But
cat.
if you put it on your hat
And
and
do
walk,
jazz.
you will stay in
Oh,
place.
I'm happy to mumble murderous thoughts under my as I stare at the floor.
Yeah,
certainly.
I'm getting the sense that Nadar's not comfortable with your mental health right now and would like it to be improved, and that's why we're making
you
all
pick a
this effort.
5-foot cube spot and cast it
No.
there.
Okay, so casting because I've got minor illusion as well, but
Mm.
casting on my hands.
You cast it on the wagon.
You can cast it on Calcrick, she's moving.
Yeah,
No.
you're not a surface or a vehicle.
Okay, so
She counts as a vehicle. She's a mount.
don't.
When people ride her.
You're a person
I'm
who allows
teasing.
people to ride them,
I'm joking.
and it won't work on a horse either.
you have
Anyway,
2
sorry
days
for
of
distracting.
travel through
Yep.
the forest heading north on a
Mhm.
perfectly straight road with perfectly lined up trees. You do notice that the trees seem to each have different shaped communities in them.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only time you've actually seen something different. But that's the higher up it gets, the more it seems to vary based on each community.
Yeah, obviously,
Are the
because the
trees
king
numbered?
doesn't look up. Well, he doesn't care because it's their expression.
Or he shapes it for them.
Yeah,
When
but
there's-
still, it's their expression
Yeah.
of the thing. It's
When
yeah.
there's an opportunity, Calcrix will belatedly reply to Drachnima's remark about respecting her elders, and she's like, I've never respected you. When should I start respecting boring old kings who don't respect dragons? Respect is mutual and earned, not something gained merely through age.
All true.
Well, if you say so.
I say that as a joke, so that Drachnima knows that she's teasing.
Okay.
Okay, so on the third day after speaking with the Queen, you find yourself further up the road and hear the sound of wolves coming in your direction.
Mm-hmm.
And you do know that there are no wolves in the forest.
It'd make too much mess.
Back up
But
here.
we
Are
are
we
the
travelling
trees.
by foot or mount
Oh,
or
that's fertilizer.
flying?
I'd say we're on ground mounts
Or walking.
because
Well-
just walking it's tiring, particularly when you've only got 1 foot.
I look around. Is there a shadow?
There are shadows. Lots of them.
Wolves, are we moving or are we staying here to fight?
We'll move. There's no point fighting if we don't need to. Unless you want. Well, okay. If you have a
No.
need, that's a need to.
I'm constantly watching where the shadows are. So
Yes.
if something kicks off, I'm there.
If we don't have to fight wolves, we won't fight wolves. We're after bigger
They're just
prey.
wolves. If they turn out to be werewolves, well then, yeah, maybe we might have to fight them.
Presumably, if we are on foot, then I think it was likely leading a scouting type role, but
Yeah.
And Calcrix is at the rear.
Seika's off to the side.
Well, there's
Oh,
no there's no
absolutely.
problem there's no problem with Drachnimir being out the front on foot doing scouting, because none of our mounts are actually making a lot of noise, except for the wheels of the wagon. And for something like this, we'd actually drive it on the grass.
Just,
And most of the time, Drussel's cart doesn't make
I
any
was gonna
sound
say,
unless
well, there
he's
you go.
particularly been annoying.
I was
So-
fairly sure Dressel's cart doesn't actually make noise because
Yeah.
it's stealth fast.
Unless it's climbing the tree of Wendar.
was Hawk happy to be reharnessed and get dragged on the back of the car?
He was. When
Yeah.
Calcrix did it.
Yeah.
Because dragon be dragon.
Well, Calcrix be Dressel's sister.
Yeah, that too.
Okay,
Big
so
old.
I will give people an investigate roll. I'm not going to bring that one back to the bathroom.
I'm going to.
Does
shoot
it? No, it's not going to be deciphering or gathering rumors, so
No.
I don't
I'm,
have the organization.
right.
I'm going.
Nice puppies.
I'm going to cheat and use passive investigation.
Well, I rolled a 7.
I just noticed it. So.
I don't think I even noticed it.
Well, whatever it was. Well, that's the thing. If I get high enough, I get higher.
Intelligence, expertise dice.
But my bonuses on that are so high, it's actually not worth me rolling.
Yeah, no, Seika Hildren can get up to, if she's in a forest or a mountain, is a passive perception of 28.
Yeah, mine's passive perception of 28 anywhere. But then I've got.
She's 20. 26. Oh, no, she's high.
Yeah. But yeah, I got multiple extra bonuses, including one magic item.
Let's use my Vax dice.
What's that? Using
Intelligence.
intelligence, thank you.
Yeah.
Unless you can make an argument otherwise.
Write me a cheat list.
Unless you can make an argument for something else, it's intelligence.
Yep, I'm happy with intelligence.
Carcass would like to make an argument for
Anything other than intelligence?
wisdom because she relies on her intuition when it comes to this sort of stuff. And her wisdom sort of...
How much? Your passive perception.
Yes.
Okay, you can
Okay,
use
I can't
your...
remember, you
I know
told
what
me
it is
how to
you're doing,
argue
so.
it because I asked how do I argue wisdom as an example and you gave me an exact example. I'm like, that example.
That one, that thing.
I can't remember it.
Holy sprinkle, it was worthwhile rolling.
Okay.
Oh shit, okay.
All I know is that I've written on my sheet, Martin says I can argue wisdom as long as I'm doing it on like intuition, you know, feely rather than thinky.
28.
Yes.
28?
Yes, I've got really
26.
Yeah, my passive perception is high, and I went, I'll roll in anyway just to see.
Natural 20?
This far off.
Okay.
35.
35?
9.
Right. Father Pat is really observant today. How about Drachenmoth?
Flower.
31.
And how about Calcrex?
26.
Okay, so all of you except one got over 20. Not a bad sight, as Father Pat appears oblivious to what's happening right now.
Something like that, yeah.
Yes.
Those of you who
Okay.
Those of you who got over 20 but less than 30, you can tell that there seems to be creatures coming north down the road in your general direction, and they seem to be able to move with the shadows.
So these aren't normal wolves.
So they are, you can tell they're moving, but you can't see them moving in the light.
Bloody magic.
I'm gonna cast True Sight.
And those of you who have Lowell can tell that this appears to be a scouting party. They have 2 griffins, a nightmare, and some sort of shadow steeds. And the shadow steeds are wolf steeds.
I will note
How
this to
far
people.
how far are they away when they're spotted or when Jack never spots them go ahead?
Probably about 1,000 to 2,000 feet. Hard to tell at this distance.
That's just should
Okay.
be noticed in the first place.
Is there any indication that they've spotted us?
Well, I've just noted it to people, so I just told people.
Lowell does believe the Griffin Riders have seen you.
Mm-hmm.
And the howling was them calling the troops below.
Right. So either it's run a lot or we fight.
Looks like we're fighting.
Or you can try and talk our way through it. But Saker is itching for a fight.
And I think they are as well.
How big a scouting party are we talking about?
You're looking at a group of about 15.
I look back. Are
Do some general
we
stuff.
making a stand here, or are we...
Is there a better position?
Is there a better position?
There are many places you could go off the road, but you do know that elven roads generally have some protection for elves, whereas the forest itself will
Yeah.
not.
And getting to
Well-
cover from here is probably... We'd have to look for it. I'm not sure we've really got time
But
to both
looking
find
back-
something and set up.
People will note that obviously Cool is also is aware of what's happening.
Well,
And
I've just noted what we're seeing, what I've just seen, so...
yeah.
Yeah.
And so Captain will working on the idea that hopefully they're more likely to spot the party rather than him. He'll basically take a spot to make it maintain hidden and confirm whether it looks like the party is looking to disappear or whether they're looking to abandon fight. And if so, he'll be ready to provide sniper cover.
The moment that there was mumblings about staying here, I found a shadow and am hiding.
Yeah.
Do you want me to roll for it?
I would like your roll for it.
Okay, I have rank 5 in stealth. So I have advantage. Does this... would you count it as anonymity, casing, or camouflage? Finding a shadow.
Camouflage will work here.
So advantage with specialization. Let me just check to see.
Because finding one of the trees, they all have bushes at the bottom.
Right.
So I'm staying close to the road, but the shadow I can find. Just, I have a feeling I've got something else to give me. Already have advantage on that. Well, let's roll it with advantage and expertise and then see if I need to add anything.
Alfred will stay next to Basil on the cart.
How far apart are the party?
How far apart are...
Presumably we're grouped fairly close together aside from Jack number being slightly up front and Calcrix always protects the rear.
So basically, anybody within a 30-foot radius is within my commanding presence,
Just about, yeah.
which I think would be nearly everybody.
Yeah, it would be.
30
30 feet's
minimum.
pretty big.
That's a radius.
If I don't have anything else to add to it from my
Yeah.
feats, which I I haven't checked everything.
Yeah.
So if I'm proficient in survival, could I use that to figure out a safe place for us to hide? Potentially, or to camouflage us better?
To
Against
hide,
passive perception, I'm
hide the dragon and the cart, you would need to go up a tree.
Seika is doing Seika things.
Oh,
So,
jeez.
the king has literally made most of the ground cover between the trees flat.
Yeah, we'd
Thanks,
need,
King.
we'd need a detailed map of the area to be useful.
You're gonna have to kill him.
So there's this big straight road that has been magically enhanced.
I'm disliking this king
All the
already.
better for your enemies to see you.
Okay, so how many critters have we got coming towards us? We've got one Griffin Rider or two?
Two Griffin Riders, you've got multiple other mounts that seem to be able to move between the shadows, and then about 10 other odd people on foot.
I think Martin said about 15.
Yep.
I will mark one of
15
the
in
Griffin
total.
Riders.
Mm-hmm.
Let's mark both. When the time. Do you want to initiate?
You have a limitation in how far they can be away when you mark them. Or can
you
you
just have
mark?
to be within 30. To choose a creature, I can see once the creature's within 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I can mark-
Currently, they
the
are
effect
over 1,000 to
Okay,
2,000
they're
feet
not
away.
Okay, well,
Yeah. You're prepared to mark them for when they
we're
hit.
preparing to
30
mark
feet.
them. Because basically, everybody gets to get an expertise
Yeah.
dice against them.
Yes.
So what I was going to ask is, did people want us to do anything before we go into initiative? Because there will be some waiting involved if you wait. We have Nadar trying to find a place to hide, but you can
Yeah.
look pretty easily and say the only place you can hide is if you went up a tree.
Yeah. On the other hand, standing behind a tree means you've got cover and concealment. Even
I'll be
if they
standing
know where
behind
you
the
are,
tree. Yeah.
it's hard to target you.
I've done my thing.
So, getting behind
I am in
trees
prey
is worth
mode.
it.
I'm in hunt mode.
And looking, Luell knows that even if you go behind a tree, the Griffin Riders will see you doing so.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
Oh.
But you're still hard to target with a bow,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and that's the idea.
So
I
that
don't
means
care what I don't care if they know what tree I'm behind. If they can't shoot me through it, I'm fine.
I'm
with
happy for you to do so, but you have
Let's
to leave the
do it.
path.
Yeah, staying on the path at the moment is
Are
probably
the-
better for me anyway because I've got my mount, who's pretty big.
I have my gloves of missiles, snaring, attuned.
And what was Jeremy
Oh, very
saying?
nice.
I'm going to say, are the Griffin Riders the only ones that appear to have flight or rested on the ground?
Hard to tell, but you believe the ones riding nightmares also have flight if they wish them.
No,
Yeah.
okay. Certainly, as part of the fact that if they're looking to stand and fight, then Jack Nimmer's making his hiding position. He's happy to quickly climb up a tree. He's got a climb speed of 65, so I think we can get up pretty easily.
Yeah.
and he will take the eating spot up in the tree, and therefore again take the high ground as well.
Yeah.
My paternal cameo's on and attuned. Like everything's
Yeah.
attuned. I'm just telling you the things that are relevant.
So I was
But
going
I can be up a tree if I need to. So
Maternal cameo gives me
a long time to put it on.
So it take you the 10 minutes to do as a ritual.
save
I thought there
expertise
was a
on
couple
saving
you
throws
said I
against
could do
fear.
in 1 minute, and I thought that was one of them.
I
Yeah.
believe you can, just has a higher DC.
At a D6. I'm also reminding myself.
I was just trying to
Yeah.
find it because I'm not familiar with the layout of these just yet. So
One of the things I
just
do
trying
is
to
everybody
find-
gets expertise dice. Do you want me to roll one expertise dice for everybody, or do you want them all rolled separate as 1d4s?
Well, if you give people an expertise dice, they gain an expertise dice, and if they already have an expertise dice for that action, it upgrades the dice.
yeah,
That's
so
what-
Okay, so
Okay.
So if someone gets 2 expertise dice and then that you give them a third one, it's upgraded again. So it is
it's
advantage for them.
important that you just let people know that you're giving them an
Well,
expertise.
basically, what I will do is that once the first creature's within 30 feet, the griffin, everybody gets an expertise dice on their attacks, but also everybody gets an expertise dice on their initiative.
Presumably, is that within 30 feet of you as well?
They have to be within 30-foot radius.
yes.
30-foot radius of me, so
So
that
the
means
answer is yes.
virtually everybody will get it.
Yeah.
Except for Draknamar and Seeker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you
There's
after?
no third question on the tree. We're going to be out of the range, I would expect.
And what does that mean? Sorry, just for the noob.
For an expertise die, if you don't already have expertise from anything, it gives you a D4. If you already have it from one other thing, it makes it a D8. Oh, no, sorry, D6. And then if you've already got it from 2 other places, it becomes a D8.
Yeah. Basically, it stacks, and it just increases the die size.
Yeah.
It
You
is,
get the
it
bonus
is,
D20.
I think it caps at a plus D8 though.
Unless you've got a special creature which can make it a D10.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't have it here.
But you won't get someone rolling 2 D20s and adding them together.
Not normally, no.
No, you can't, because it normally, as I was just saying, it caps at D8. Martin made a point. There's a possibility you get one as a D10, but you need four expertise bonuses
Plus,
I think it can be D12 on some as well. But
and the ability to get it up to a D10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not going to get it to a
My
D20
old
is my
spells
point.
over there, so I can't get to it.
And again, just because
Yeah.
noob, the expertise, are those the abilities you've tapped out? Like you've...
The specializations.
what?
it will be noted on your character sheet
Yeah,
of certain skills. Each of the skills is your proficiency number that you roll a D20 and add. Some of those skills might also have a notation on the side saying that in this circumstance you get an expertise die, or in all rolls you get an expertise die.
yeah,
It tends to
So
come
it's not
from.
noted. You probably don't have one moment.
It
Yeah.
tends to come from
Thank
feats
you.
and stuff. So if it's
Yeah.
not there,
remember also you get specializations from character creation.
but
So, for example, I've got history with an expertise die, but a specialization in legends. When it comes to the history involving legends, I roll a D6, not a D4 for expertise.
oh,
Because
that's right.
I've got two expertise sources for that.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Noob is noob. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Learning is learning.
Do you want me to find your other spell sheets?
No, it's fine, don't worry.
Yeah, but this is playing
What are
the
you looking for?
specialization is where I get to do diplomacy stuff because I've got
Yes,
persuasion
I only got
with an
up to level
expertise
3.
die and a negotiation specialization.
No, you're all fine.
Okay, cool.
So I get to get ridiculous results.
Okay, so what would you like to do, seeing that they are coming in your direction? You can basically move off the road and hide behind a tree like suggested.
I'll move behind a tree.
Mm.
So you'll see this tree and then a few little peg marks. Peg marks.
You have no idea where I am.
I might just move off the road. I doubt I could really hide anywhere being a slightly bulky dragonborn.
You have
But I'm-
claws.
I'm doing my best to stay in the centre of
You
the
can
party,
climb
so
a tree
my command
very
actions
easily.
gets
The trees are bigger than you.
Yes.
Yes, but that if no one else is leaving the path, you're not staying in the centre of the group. That's why I'm asking what
Okay,
everyone else is
well,
doing.
So
Yeah.
I'm looking to stay in the centre.
If you if you say you're doing that, I'm going to say we should all stay around him.
Yeah.
So if we do things like, if you get off to the side, we'll get behind a tree close to you.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
happens, Calcrix is staying with Calcrix and horse.
Yep.
Does the cart have a shadow?
No.
Okay. Does the Drake have a shadow?
No.
No.
Okay.
Even
Then I'm
in
not.
his huge
I wouldn't
form.
have been hiding near the cart.
No.
To be honest, horse can probably protect Drazzle, but Calcrix feels
An obligation.
level of familiar obligation and sibling protectiveness.
Okay, so horse follows Calcrix.
If the others are moving, I will go with the others, but I'll just... If we're caught in the middle of the road, we're caught in the middle of the road. If I go up sizes, it only lasts a minute, right? How often can I do that?
Okay, I can look up.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Is that what you were looking for?
No.
Okay.
I was looking for True Sight because
Uh,
I believe in downtime I earned a special action where I could do True Sight in 1 minute, not 10.
yeah. Your rituals are 1 minute. True Sight though is level 6, which is why it's not in those pages.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I didn't grab the rest of my stuff, and I can't find my compass die, and yeah, I'm just really disorganized.
Okay,
I had too
so
much on.
sorry. Which spell are we looking at again?
Going up.
True Sight.
Enlarge, I believe, was the
Yeah.
spell.
Originally, I was.
And I think that's a level 2 spell. So you can do it at least 3 times as going up 1 rank, or 3 times going up 2 ranks.
and it'll only last a minute.
Each time, yes. And a minute is an entire combat in most cases.
So you could hold the action of when the combat starts.
Yeah, I was going to say I'll hold it for when they actually get here, but I'll go up to the maximum size I can go up to.
3.
Great. Plus 6.
Yeah. Well,
And
3
then
up
I'll just
until
use
level,
teeth and claws.
up to 15.
Okay.
Why did I put my feet away? I need to remember.
If you want to work it this way, level do off by 5 round up.
Okay, so as you're waiting, did anyone want to do any preparations that they want to get out of the way that last for longer than a minute?
Outside of True Sight, there was nothing else I wanted to do.
I believe you could get True Sight up in that time.
I'm not sure if it'll let me see any better, but I'm hoping.
We've got to maybe figure out, see, is there like hiding up in difficulty or anything like that? You'll be able to spot them more easily.
Yeah, I think I'm able to see everything that doesn't want to be seen.
Basically.
Unless they're particularly high level, high ranking magic.
Okay, so Calcrix brings up True Sight. Did you give it to anyone else? Because you sometimes do that
I
too.
can give it to other people if they would like it.
It would be a
Anyone
distinct use.
putting their hand up?
So using it will reduce your hit points.
Yep, that's fine.
Father Pat was sitting on a True Sight, make it easier to see the enemy.
I've got
Especially the ones that are
182
bouncing
of
through
them. What does
darkness.
it go down to?
That's a level. What is it? Level 6 spell.
Yeah.
Then it would reduce it by 30 each time.
Okay, so how many people have I given it to? Just Lure
And the sergeant.
and Father Pat?
So that would be
60.
reducing it.
So that's
by,
122.
well, 30 each time.
Yeah.
So that would be 90.
Oh, okay, sorry. So 98 then. No, 80. No, 88. 88?
Okay.
You've
Martin.
never applied
Yeah.
that before.
That's because I was waiting until we went into a point where it was necessary because you haven't been going into combat. Yeah.
On a mastery weapon,
Mm-hmm.
what's the crit range?
Hang on, I've got it here. I'll tell you, let me tell you.
Because I've got improved critical, so whatever it is, I get 1 extra.
Well, that means that for you, if you roll a 19 or 20, it becomes that the other ones will give it on other numbers.
So that was the question I was going to ask. So one of my dangerous
Mastercraft on
strikes.
its own just means it's very high quality.
Dangerous
It
strikes
doesn't do anything
is
special.
Oh no, on my
one of
magic,
combat manoeuvres.
my magic daggers.
It makes crits on a 19 to
What is
20.
Mastery.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
mastery.
here
with
it
a
says
throwing
here with
Not master
mastery,
master
it's 10 over. I assume that means 11 or 9 over.
No, it will still be 10
Let's see
over
what I
on
get
that
from
because that's a
mine.
different effect. If you roll, because it's not about what you naturally roll, it's about the total result. The other one is the crit rating on that one is what you naturally roll. So you naturally have to roll a 19 or 20
Yeah.
to get
If you
that.
get 10
So
over
it,
what
it,
you
it
need,
goes from being a natural 20
is a
to
crit.
being a 19 to 20.
20,
for it
yeah.
to work.
Well, what about this thing about this says
Isn't it if-
10 over the target
That's
number is a
for
critical
expert.
hit?
Yes, which
Yeah,
is
I
not
think
reduced
also
or
if I roll-
altered by
if I
that because
rolled,
that's the
Not only if I
target
roll
being
19
over the
or
target
20,
number,
if
not
I
the number you roll.
adds
It's got
up to
nothing.
20.
It's not modifying
Oh,
the number you
different
roll.
thing.
It's about the result of the roll.
Right, okay.
So it's a completely different
So there's
thing you're
kind of
looking
no
at.
point taking as a combat manoeuvre, really, is there? Given that
It still means that instead of on a 20 you crit, you can also crit on a 19.
yeah.
Jeremy's trying to say something.
Go, Jeremy.
Trying for a while.
And I was going to say another, Martin, are you actually incorporating upgraded criticals at all?
I was, yes.
Okay, so that means that the idea being that if you roll a natural 20 and it's 10 over your target, the total comes out as 10 over the target, it's a better than normal critical.
It's a double crit sort of
Or
thing.
if you've got an improved
right.
critical, you get that same effect if you roll 19 or 20 and it's 10 more than what you
Right,
needed.
okay, that makes
Is
sense.
it
yeah.
also a critical if what I
So
add
it's all worthwhile.
So I got a plus 15 to hit. I seem to remember reading that if your roll adds up to a 20, that's also a
For
critical.
finesse weapons, yes.
Yeah.
Finesse weapons have that extra ability to crit because they're finesse weapons.
So
Yeah.
if I roll
They
a
stack
19 or
stuff.
20, or my roll adds up to a 20 or a
Yeah,
40.
multiple of 20,
yeah.
that's
Because
a
a
crit.
finesse weapon normally does less damage basic. Increasing crits.
And
is
if I
valid
do a
as well.
crit, does that include my sneak attack damage?
Yes.
Excellent.
Which means you can do stupid amounts at high levels.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, so
All the fun of being I can sneak attack.
as you have a chance to prepare, if you can justify your initiative for a different value, now's the time to say so.
How?
So if you're saying I'm using a tactical way to do it, you can use survival for
Can
your...
I use intelligence?
you're currently using stealth.
No, intelligence, not as a different skill. Can I use intelligence?
Well,
for that?
currently you've said you're hidden until they get close, so yours is on your stealth roll.
My stealth roll is 30.
That's
Yes.
all still.
Yeah.
My initiative, if that's part of initiative, I get a +5 to that.
Okay, then it'll be 35.
So, can I use charisma because I'm organising everybody?
You can use charisma because you're organising everybody, but what skill are you using?
So,
Persuasion.
persuasion.
Then
First-
persuasion it is.
Yep. Yeah. I would use either history or persuasion because that's the way I would do things. No, it's the same roll either way.
I would say that would be history because you already got someone persuading
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah. Well, I'll do it.
Someone's taking charge.
He's doing that. I'm going to use my knowledge of what he's doing to use history for mine.
I'll be using perception because that's what the true side of
Mhm.
is about.
So I will give you advantage with it because you are using true sight.
So roll the dice now.
Yep.
Everybody has an expertise dice.
Oh God.
I wish I had my lucky dice, but it's gone for a walk.
13. Plus, I don't know what else.
Well,
Plus
what's your
5 for charisma.
persuasion?
Plus 5 for charisma.
Now, what's your actual persuasion skill?
Well, this is the bit I still haven't quite got
Okay.
out.
So you got persuasion, which would be proficiency.
Yeah,
Which would be +4.
Yeah.
Plus
So
4, plus
plus
cruise.
nine.
Plus,
So 13 plus 9
proficiency
is
is 3.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had too many people talking.
No, no.
22.
Okay.
What was the result?
What was it for?
About 21, you said.
22.
22.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
gotta be careful with
So
scissors.
we just have to make sure that one of your skills that we say is proficiency.
Okay, so what is Nadar doing for her initiative?
Persuasion.
Which it would be anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
It's natural.
I'm not quite sure. Like, is that just I roll and I tell you the number, or
You can roll and add your perception and your wisdom to the roll.
So
And
you
D4.
get more.
Or your perception total.
Okay.
I'm 17. My roll sucked.
Oh, shit, I don't have a D4.
What'd you get?
17.
You need a
I
d4.
just
You know
track
how badly it
I
sucked?
don't have it in my dice.
I got a 14 and an expertise dice.
Dice box is just there.
And my total was 17.
I track things,
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah,
trying
yeah, that's fine.
Dial dice is
But
cool.
you tracking it's better than me having to do it.
to. This is how I function.
No, that's fine.
4 plus 4.
I try not to because otherwise I spend all my time taking notes. I do that enough in our Star Wars.
I'm quick to take notes. I'm good.
So I've got a
Oh,
3
I
and
type.
I've got a 20 and I've got a D4 now.
Jeremy, did you already say your initiative?
28.
33.
Cool.
33.
Sorry, I'm just tracking.
I haven't said it. I was really waiting for the last one.
21.
21 from Nadar, 23 from Draknamar, and 33.
28 from Dracula.
33.
28 from Draknamar. And I know there was 3 in one of them, so it's 33 for Calcrix. Okay. Now I just need to arrange them all so I can actually do them in order. It's handy that I can drag and drop. Okay, so as you're now off the road and by the tree, you do see the group of shadow horses come to a stop on the road, roughly where you came out, as they seem to blur to that location.
Yeah.
And behind it, you see a bunch of humans and ghasts and ogres also come to a stop. They look like they were moving pretty fast as well, slightly blurring at their movement.
Okay.
And above, you see the 2 griffins circling as the they seem to slowly step off the pathway a lot slower than they were moving.
Okay.
End of a haste spell.
Well, you think it's part of the magic of the roadway,
Okay.
and once you leave it, you don't think you can get back on it.
Us?
Elves normally have a catch.
Yeah. Yes. Don't leave the road.
I
Or
mean,
else.
you and I should be able to leave the road and come back on it.
Should.
But it's not your nation.
No.
And they seem to be pulling themselves up.
Mm-hmm.
I've found the enlarge spell.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Given the composition of that particular group, I'm going to say they're definitely bad guys and they're not really going to be worthwhile negotiating with.
And behind them on a nightmare is a rather intimidating looking figure. As he's got either side of him what appears to be paladin-esque figures.
Okay.
Each with symbols of the Lady of Vengeance on their tabards.
How are those Griffin Riders?
The Griffin Riders are circling at about maybe 500-600 feet above you.
Yeah, well, no point
So
marking them.
really too high up to get close to us quickly, but still annoying. Still in bow shot though, which is...
which they seem to also have bows.
But yeah, that'd be pretty silly not to.
So, can I just point out to everybody, anybody who wishes to may take a -5 to attack, and if they do so, it'll do an extra 2d6 damage.
So I'll simply go down and replace that an extra 2 dice of damage.
Sorry?
Just say extra 2 dice.
2 dice.
Every time you try to do multiple dice, it gets a bit messy.
So an extra 2 dice, okay.
The figure on the nightmare, are they armoured, not armoured? Like, what do we see about them?
Okay, having a look at them, they have a cloak of shadows around them, making them very hard to see distinctly.
Yep.
You think they're not exactly where you're looking.
Alright, cool.
Right.
And Calcrick's looking at him, and those with the true sight looking at him. He does seem to be wearing a full plate out of a blackish metal with gold runes etched into it.
Right.
Various symbologies on it relating to gladiatorial champions.
I was going to say, Lul and I ask in unison, do we recognise the runes? And you've answered that.
Yeah.
Basically, symbology not used in close to 1,000 years.
Yeah. I will tell people.
Can I also draw people's attention to the fact that anybody who is attacked can use a reaction to make a additional melee attack.
Okay, so
Okay.
they seem to be formed up on next to the road, looking in your general direction.
Do they look aggressive or?
Well, they have formed up into actual
Combats.
ranks
Yeah.
and
Okay.
And they're
lines,
definitely evil.
and
evil I
quite
don't care
defensive
about.
in how they've done it.
Yeah.
So they haven't gone the we'll just expand our forces. Basically, you think they've encountered random groups of elves in the past, and anything other than full defensive.
Yeah.
Violently hurts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And well,
Have they gone?
they're an obviously experienced recon in force.
I'm just checking because I mean, I could be wrong, but 35. I think I'm going first. So-
Yeah, I only got a 33.
Like, I
Calcrick's-
don't want to trigger something that.
Calcrick's
No,
is going
that's
to
fine.
remind people that delegations
We would call if we
can
want to
all
do that slow.
look very different and threatening. So we should find out what their intent is first.
1,000-year-old symbols of the Lady of Vengeance, and they've got ghasts with them. I
Yeah,
think
but
they're probably bad guys.
we made that assumption about a group of emissaries underwater, all holding their weapons, coming towards us, looking angry.
Yeah.
We fire blasted them into a million pieces, only to find out that they were a diplomatic envoy that we really needed to talk to first. And then there was the 6 dinosaurs that we killed off that belonged to Ka, that were the parents protecting their nest, not knowing whether or not we're a danger or not. Calcris has got a lot of experience at attacking the wrong people, and Drazzle can't turn back time right now.
For what,
Yeah.
for what it's worth, I'm marking the leader as
Did you
foe.
Calcrick saying that while they're formed up outside, or was this
Yes.
before you were talking while you were doing your true sight ritual?
Calcrix will say that if Martin
Okay,
will
what's the
allow it-
wording of your targeting?
Yeah.
He's the big guy.
No, what is the wording of? Because each thing, what does the target value actually say in that? Because it is rather important in this case.
Okay, if he is within 30 feet, which I'm assuming he is.
Currently, I'd say he's probably at about 50 to 100 feet from you.
Okay, when he gets within 30 feet, I will mark him as foe, which basically means that anybody who is attacking him gets an expertise dice.
Does the target say anything in particular? Does it say target creature? Does it say target?
Oh, okay. All right.
Because the thing is, the reason I'm asking that is to be pedantic on that is that in some cases it is not relevant.
I
Yeah.
think it says target, but it might be target creature. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
While he's
Let
looking
me
at that-
check and I'll confirm for you.
While he's
Jeremy
looking-
asked a question as well.
Sorry.
What was Jeremy's question?
Jeremy's question was, did Calcrix remind everybody not to annihilate on your first move because one Drazzle's down and two, we've
Quite
annihilated
possibly.
people in the past.
I
before,
believe
it's fine.
Calcrix would have told you while you were waiting.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
she would have informed Seika and everybody.
Although, remembering that Calcrick was doing a ritual for Truesart during the time of waiting as well.
Yeah.
So,
But
That's
that
what I'm
only
saying.
takes a minute.
She had time to do so.
okay.
Can
But
I?
then the next question I had was, have they formed up past Dracula's position?
I would say if you went off the road to a tree, you're probably up a tree a bit further ahead than the others, or the same tree. And if you are about 500 meters away from them. Well, 500 feet away from them.
Okay, yeah, no, certainly, yes. The idea is that I was in a tree probably 40 or 50 feet in front of us apart.
The trees are about 500 feet apart.
Okay.
That's a lot of spread.
Okay.
The king has built a forest where the trees expand out to a point where they could be isolated or connected on the people's wish.
Because they're walking huge trees.
So
Yes.
under Mark Foe, it says basically martial direction improves the efficiency of your allies' attacks against an enemy you focus their attention on. You can use a bonus action, so after it comes to my turn, to choose a creature you can see within 30 feet. Until the start of your next turn, creatures are able to hear or see you gain an expertise dice on attacks made against that creature.
It's important because if you didn't have true sight, you wouldn't have been able to target him.
Yeah.
Can I do a quick investigation?
Yeah.
Can you do?
Can I do a quick insight check for sense motives?
Sure.
I'm going to call out.
Character going first.
Okay, he's going
The
first.
one with 35 initiative.
Can I do it before initiative?
This
or-
is with initiative.
No, then
we're
I'm
already
leaving it.
we're already at initiative.
Then I'm
and
leaving
you're
it.
first.
Yeah.
The other thing is,
Okay.
if you want to,
Wait on action.
keeping
I'll lose too much
Calcrix's
if I
thing,
hold.
Yeah.
I-
Not fair.
I have to
Keeping-
put myself further
keeping
down.
Calcrix's words in mind, you could hold or delay your action till
Yeah.
after Calcrix goes.
Yeah, you
Calcrix
could
is going
hold
to. The first
right-
thing Calcrix is going to do is sense motive,
Yeah.
try to open diplomacy, and if their response to that is undiplomatic, and
I
then
just-
you guys can go
But
to
if you
help.
hold it,
not
won't
go to help,
change it.
go to
Yeah.
go to
I
what's
could-
that thing where you
Beat them up.
Yeah.
If you hold it, won't change your initiative number.
But if I hold my action, it reduces what I can do. I have 2 bonus actions.
Ah.
So either I would drop myself in initiative behind Calcrix, which is a possibility,
yeah.
or
If you delay, you get your full action.
so I either delay or hold an action. I'm not going to hold an action because I lose too
No,
much.
no, that's fine.
I am willing to, and Seika probably would, delay until somebody.
Calcrix's,
Not as long as it's not too long.
Calcrix's first move is to pretty much go friend or foe. Are you here to diplomacy things out, or are you here to just annihilate us? If the answer is annihilate us, they'll throw.
She's hair trigger at the moment, but I think knowing Drazzle's down, knowing we're going not necessarily to fight the Shadow Lord, possibly just to convince him, she would wait a little bit, but basically if it goes past maybe the next person who acts with no action, with
Okay, so you've delayed. We'll pause that. You've delayed.
Sweet.
To be
Okay.
honest, I'm pretty sure this is a combat
So
because
Calcrix.
Paul said we're due for a combat and Martin heard that.
yes.
The first thing she is actually going to do is she's basically going to call out to them.
So parlay.
Parlay, basically. We're here to discuss terms between you and the elven queen. This doesn't have to come down to a fight.
Okay, so
I'll also introduce myself. I'm Calcrix, the white dragon with the jazz wings, because everybody knows her.
Unless that's reaction.
They can use techniques.
Okay, maybe not
Okay.
everybody.
So, using your commanding presence
Okay, so
That's using
the
your
in
command
response
privilege.
the
Your command privilege to make an
sorry, just waiting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And there's that reaction when they get that reaction because of my ability. Because I get that other one when they get their reaction.
When they get their attack.
So guys, your sideline convocation is not the sideline.
Sorry, we're trying to interpret a rule here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. I can't. I'm not going to talk over people at this point. I don't have the strength. So the guy in charge on the other side slowly pulls a blade out with the metal and metal sound.
Right. Totally unnecessary, but hey.
And he issues a challenge.
Do you
what
understand the
language?
challenge?
All languages.
Oh.
Everyone hears their native language, all languages,
Fun.
which really messes up those who have more than one native language.
They hear many voices in their heads.
Well, they hear all the voices in all the languages,
Yeah.
even though they understand.
And what does he say in the challenge?
Basically, he has demanded a challenge.
This is the leader?
Yes, the leader has demanded a challenge.
Calcrix will meet him in a challenge of wits. Her intelligence is too low for that, but she'll then nominate somebody to represent her.
Which would
You know,
strike
one
me
of
as
the
probably
smart
being...
people.
Which does sound like he has issued a what Calcric would recognise as what a dragon would do. If a dragon wants to basically do a show of strength.
Okay. This would probably be a good point to enlarge up. Is that right?
You could accept the challenge. And
I'll
enlarge.
accept the challenge and size up. He'll probably annihilate me.
Okay. You see him gesture to one of the others to step out and meet you. One of his subordinates.
Yep.
Are you huge or gargantuan?
She's gone from large to gargantuan.
Sorry.
Full-size dragon.
I try to not ask questions when I'm not
Okay.
in combat.
So at this point, does Seeker wish to jump in?
do I
you
know
said
the
you
rules of
wanted
the
to go.
challenge? I want in, but do I know that this is the sort of challenge where I shouldn't attack the guy who stepped forward?
If that's the case, then you believe you would be stamping on Calcrix. You've heard of challenges, and most of them are the equivalent of a duel.
Yeah, look,
I
I called out and he did a challenge. I got no choice but to accept.
You could have specified someone else, but stepping up yourself is a very strong point. The fact he's pointed to someone lesser than him means he's probably not to the death. But if someone else was to step in, it's basically a full-on challenge to him.
Yep, and now it's a fight.
Yes, where he can't back down from.
I feel bad from taking the fight away from you, but I'm not putting anyone in front of me.
No.
It's just not that way.
Okay, I will hold my action. I will do my 2 throwing daggers with sneak attack and everything that comes with it. Now I know I need to word this really carefully. If someone outside of the 2 participants in the duel attacks from their party, attacks anyone from our party.
Okay.
Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
It is nice and specific. I like that.
I've learnt.
Yes.
Okay, so what would Father Pat like to do, having heard this challenge and understand that it is an actual duel?
He will respect the duel, but he will be on guard and alert.
Yes.
And the minute that somebody does anything that is not appropriate,
So you want to hold your attack
I'll
action.
hold my attack
Attack action until somebody does
Yep.
the same
Yeah.
trigger
Yeah.
as me.
Calcrix is secretly wishing Zal was here to hold her hand. She's never been in a duel before.
And how about Drachnamar?
Just
I'm sorry I
be
didn't
aware
skip over
where
you,
the
but
trigger is very
I assume
important.
you were going to wait and see the result.
Basically, yes. Dracula's main purpose is so he'd be up the same tree the others were around, or the chunks are probably a bit apart, but he's actually scampered down the branches So he's probably about 50, 60 feet away from the top of the tree. Is the rook where they're coming from. And he's actually taking a bead on one of the griffin riders.
Yep. And what is Nadar doing?
So I'm also going to wait and make sure that the jewel is held up appropriately. Because Nadar's not one for fighting unless necessary. Also a hold. And if they don't hold up their end of the bargain, if they attack someone who's not within the jewel, I also don't want to do anything crazy. First thing, I will. Give me a second. I will. Oh, Jesus. Sorry. No, don't get Jesus. Don't want that.
He's
I will
he's the wrong
use
man for
my-
the situation.
Yeah,
Apparently
if
playing.
they
Oh, sorry.
attack someone who's not within the jewel, I will use my. How far away are they again?
They're about 50 to 60 feet at this stage.
Okay.
So the champion has stepped in front of them?
They're the one that the champion has been stepped out in front, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So if they do not hold up their end of the jewel, I will use as.
Be careful that you don't pick an actual spell over a cantrip, because if you ready a spell to cast, you either cast it or lose it on your next action. Normally you'll lose it because your ready didn't trigger.
Yeah.
And remember, the other factor is, it could be a lot simpler. Just say, I will delay, because if you're going to wait for someone to do something wrong, and then you act before they do it wrong, then you've acted first.
That's true. I might do
If
that.
you delay, it just means, oh, hang on. It means they get their attack off, and then means you can react to the attack.
Yeah.
Okay, I might delay then.
The
Because,
delay
mine
not a
is
bad
all
thing.
spells, so I don't want to lose anything or attack first unnecessarily.
Okay, how about Lual?
Waiting for the outcome.
So
Delay.
Okay, so the one who steps forward pulls out a blade that just seems to suck the light in.
It's not a two-handed greatsword, is it?
I think it probably is.
It is a great sword. It's not the great sword you're thinking of.
It's not Black Razor. All right.
Do you have deep magic there?
I do somewhere here.
I just know it's got greater dragon breath in it.
I can pull it up on my phone.
I'm trying to decide whether or not I should do something like Irresistible Dance and Hideous Laughter, or just blasting with Greatest Fire Breath. I don't know if I don't know what kind of strength it's at. I kind of don't want to annihilate him, but I don't want to be annihilated in return.
Because Dragon Breath, I think, is currently at 3 damage dice.
Greater Dragon Breath.
I think Greater Dragon Breath
is special.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the special means.
I think you.
That's why I've got the book.
Given you've accepted the challenge, I think you're perfectly within your rights to annihilate him. That was the deal. That was the offering, you know.
Yeah, we get out and fight. You don't go and fight.
You don't ignite him.
Well, you doubt they'll be holding back.
No, exactly.
No.
But they're also not threatening the entire group.
No,
Yeah.
They're threatening whoever got challenged.
that's right. So
Yes.
you would try, if you're going to do your Great Dragon Breath, try not to get the bystanders.
Yeah, that's why I was looking at one of my more powerful ones, but
Okay, so the guy with the sword readies the sword, gives you a salute.
3d6 damage.
66 damage.
It depends on which book you're looking at. gives you a salute with the sword, and then basically gets into a readied stance. In the sense of, he's not going to attack you, he's going to let you attack him first.
Interesting.
So is it 66? Just to quickly change it in my notes.
Yeah, it's 66. Cast at 5th level. At 6th level, it's 8d6.
Okay, cool.
He's sucking in the light. Does that tell me which of my greater dragon breaths that I might use?
Well, it means that it's most likely going to deal necrotic damage if it hits, and potentially be unhealable for a time.
Does that mean...
Which leads you to suspect he's probably immune or resistant to necrotic damage. They probably all are.
So that would... I've got
I've
lightning,
already planned what I'm doing.
and I've got cold. I think lightning
do
is the
radiant
one that I
damage?
use against...
Oh yeah.
Can you do radiant
Lightning
damage?
is one you would use because he has lots of metal on him, including his blade.
I get black, blue, or white. So I get acid, lightning, or cold. And I think lightning is the one.
Any one of those would work.
I think that is
If he's
pretty
undead,
much-
he might be immune to cold.
actually...
It may be immune to cold, it'd be undead, yeah, you're right.
Many undead are immune to different things.
Yeah.
I know.
And basically, he does look like
I mean,
he's
my entry
he is
aspect
dark
of it.
aspected more than anything else.
He was
Yeah.
what? Death
Dark
aspect?
aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
the
was it-
dark aspect
I'm
is
in my
either
entropy
radiant
aspect,
damage,
which means
lightning
my
damage.
dagger
I
does
think we
necrotic,
said
extra
is
necrotic
fairly
damage.
effective because
So it
I've
depends
dealt
if it's
with
resistant or immune,
Yeah.
necrotic
or if that's even.
I'm
entropathic creatures
If I was
before.
any other aspect.
I'm just reading one more spell before I decide.
And shift all 5 to radiant.
Oh no, I'll do lots of damage in that anyway.
Oh,
If I was in
well,
any other
that might be
aspect, I'd be
overkill.
doing a different
Oh yeah.
how much time
Yeah.
for my extra damage.
This
Yeah.
guy, like, I'm not meant to obliterate him from the earth, right?
Well, you are challenged. They have basically thrown a gauntlet down of a challenge. You choose how much you meet the challenge.
Oh look, I'm gonna meet it
and
with Greater Fire Dragon
Yeah.
Breath at
If
6th level.
if you're trying to show that you are something not to be trifled with, you can annihilate them. Or if you're showing you're reasonable, you can basically just knock them down.
I'm gonna go for reasonable, and if that doesn't work, then I'll go for annihilation if I get the opportunity. So I'll do Greater Dragon Breath, and I'll do it at lightning and hope that that's going to be effective enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't read all my spells and make everyone wait 45 minutes while I do so.
Okay, so that means you have, what is it, 8d6 damage?
If I'm successful at it, I will use Fortunate Feat if I have to roll.
You don't have to roll to hit.
I don't?
He rolls to see if he
Okay, so it's
gets out of the
It's a
area of
dex
effect.
save.
8 DC.
You're casting it at 6th
eight-
level?
Yeah,
8d6.
8 D6.
Plus, you also get to add some from Calcrix as a dragon, which is on top of that. And I believe that is another 3 dice of damage.
Damn it, I had another.
So that'd be
Oh,
11d6. And
So
he
each
suffers
skill
half
gets-
damage even if he succeeds, he still suffers half.
9, 10, 16, 1, 2, 26.
Is that just for the 8?
That's 8, yeah.
You
You get another 3.
3d6.
Oh, I get 3 more? Sorry. Not just good. So what did I say?
You said 26.
26, 30, 35.
Okay.
No, 34. That's 2 cats, not a 3. I'm like, what is that?
Well, if you're using your cat dice.
Yeah, it's my cat dice, but it's 2 cats, so it's a 2. But because of the way the cats were shaped, it looked like a 3. So 34.
Okay, so he does take that hit, and then he.
And barely shrugs.
No, it does look as if it did hurt him.
I'm down to 88 hit points.
He then moves in to hit you.
Does his thing still work?
Does that count for
With the
expertise?
extra bits?
The -5.
The minus
No, I
5.
think
That's
that's
a melee
attack
attack.
rolls.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
This wouldn't count. It's not
And
melee.
did you say something about extra dice though?
You can, yes, if you do a melee attack,
Oh, okay.
you
It's
can
not
take
a
a
melee attack.
-5 to hit,
Yep.
and you get an extra 2d,
Yeah,
2
so
dice.
Expertise only on
I
melee
just-
attacks.
I just remembered a whole lot of
It says
numbers.
melee.
Okay, so he moves up to Calcrix and goes to swing at Calcrix with his sword.
Mhm.
His first one will hit a armor class of 23.
I think my armor classes are lower than that. I've got my AC written on one of these bits of paper here, but there's like so many bits of paper.
Hang on. It should be on the character sheet I gave you.
Yeah, I've got lots of sheets here though. And that's a matter of finding where on this character sheet. I'm 22.
Okay, so out of 3 swings, he hits you
No,
once.
so it says, all it says is, sorry, Martin, any makes an attack roll.
Okay,
Doesn't
so
say-
because I'll be using ranged, so I just needed to
There was
check.
no attack roll.
No, it's not an attack roll, I don't think. Yeah.
Am I dead?
Probably not.
Okay, he deals 17 points of damage, which reduces your maximum hit points by 17.
Oh,
Yep, that's okay. That takes me down to
You're at 88.
78 minus 71.
But they were 3 swings and only 1 hit.
Now,
ow.
Ariadna,
Yep.
while I'm conscious, which I am, you can make a retaliatory attack. So when you are hit by a melee weapon attack, you can use a reaction to make a melee weapon attack against that attacker if you wish.
Melee.
So
Which
you
is
could do
bite,
claws or tail.
or
Yeah,
tail.
melee equals. Yeah, so basically.
So you can bite him free.
Sorry?
You could bite and
Bite
bite his
him.
arm off.
You
Yeah.
wrote rules about bite, talons, and things. Was one stronger than the other?
Bite is the strongest.
Yeah, so
And you can take off his arm.
I don't like being hit by swords, so I will bite.
Okay, give me an attack roll.
So that is a D20 roll.
D20.
And if you want to, you can now take the -5 penalty in order to do the 2 extra damage.
Okay, yeah. And I'll use fortunate.
Depends how hard the guy is likely to be to hit.
Yeah, well, that's what we don't know.
So it's
Yeah.
first to 3. So this is 17.
Do you want to use fortunate to give yourself advantage on that?
Yeah. Because, to be honest, this isn't my lucky dice. Shit. No, it's 17. So I'm guessing I don't hit him.
17 plus your strength.
I don't have a character sheet on here.
So that makes it 20. If
Plus
it's just
proficiency.
at proficiency.
Plus proficiency, so
Proficiency 24.
Minus the 5,
Minus-
back to 19.
If you want to take the -5.
Well, she did call the
Yeah,
minus 5 before she rolled.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what the -5 means.
Minus 5 to your attack roll to give you an extra 2 dice of damage.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that what it does?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's because he provides that from his
That's my ability I'm
proximity.
providing to you.
Ah, okay.
So it's why it's good that he's not the one doing the duel, because he gets to give to everyone else.
Yeah. Right, I see.
And I believe your damage dice is a D10.
that sounds right for
I
bite.
am, to be
Yeah.
honest, I don't have those numbers in front of me.
For a big bite.
You do.
I probably do, but I don't know how to find
They're
it.
at the bottom of that same page you found your armor class on. There's a bit that says
Oh,
bite.
okay. Bite, attack bonus +7, damage 2d8. Oh, so where does that attack bonus come in?
When you add that to
I
dice.
don't think I added proficiency to it, so it's plus 11.
Okay.
No, you did. Strength +3, difficulty +4, +7.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, she has a strength of
3.
3. Okay,
Three,
yeah,
yeah.
7.
Yeah, okay. So it's 2d8, and then there's like a P.
Piercing.
Oh, PC.
Okay, so that means you'll be doing 4d8.
Yeah, damage.
So 4. Where's my d8?
And because it wasn't a crit, it's not a 7.
7. Okay.
So 4d8.
If she crits on a bite, she takes a limb.
So if it was the limb carrying
I
the
don't
sword.
think that's going to happen based on
Well, it's a
those
great
two rolls
sword. If he
there.
loses one limb, he can't wield it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only 6.
Only 6?
Yeah.
48.
I rolled really badly.
And then you add your strength bonus to it, so it makes it 9.
So strength bonus.
It is +3, so it makes it 9.
9. Yeah, it wasn't a good roll. As I said, my lucky dice has disappeared, and I'm paying for it right now.
Calcrix has also never been in a duel before. This is very uncomfortable for her. It was a instinctual snap.
He tastes yucky.
Really yucky.
Okay, so he drops a vile curse on you.
Ow.
Ow.
Would that be a whiz saving throw?
So for now, a D4 is subtracted from your attack rolls and saving throws
It's
for the
me.
next minute.
Okay.
But I believe, does anyone give you immunity to frightened?
I don't know. Does anyone
do
give
that,
me
sorry.
immunity to frighten?
I don't
Can't
believe anyone does. So that
No, I
means
can't.
that is his.
I have-
Unless Eve gives me immunity to frighten.
Eve does not, but that is his action.
Right. Alright, I guess I've got to go for Greater Dragon Breath again. But I think I'll have to do it. Let me just double check here.
I believe you need to.
I need
If you
to-
do, you don't get the extra 3 dice because you've used your breath weapon.
Oh, okay, so I need to do a different weapon?
No, you can, but you only get 8 instead of 11
Okay.
because your breath weapon recharges with every short rest.
You've got some really nice spells. Do you want me to have a quick look
I
and see
do
what...
have some really nice spells. I'm just covered in pages.
No, hang on.
and It is really hard for me to figure out which
Give me a sec.
ones I want to use.
At level 5, you have
Yeah, I'm down to level 5s now because I've used
Arcane,
the-
Battle Mind, Conjure Element, they're rituals. Storm Kick.
Yeah, the Storm Kick is a good one.
What's that do?
So Storm Kick.
Lightning Kick. I'm presuming.
So ranged spell attack. You instantly flash to a space of your choosing adjacent to the target, so you could move behind him.
Kick him
I
on.
also have
You would do 1d6 plus your spellcasting modifier bludgeoning damage and 3d8 thunder damage and 68 lightning damage.
Holy shit!
If
That's
you're
kicking him in the nuts.
unarmed strike, so
That is not
if you're
much
unarmed
of that.
strike, normally uses a larger die, use that instead of a d6. So would its claws...
It would use whatever her attack's using. So if she did it with her tail, it still counts as the kick.
So she could
Anything
use
but
it
a
with a
bite.
bite, which
With a-
is a d8.
I would say not the bite because the bite is piercing, but the slashing or the tail would still count.
Anything
The tail
involves
is
lethal
striking.
claws is slashing.
So the claws or the tail, I believe, are valid for the kick.
So, the deadly tail, it says B for bludgeoning.
Yep.
So it definitely works for the undeadly tail.
Interesting that wing, I can do it. It says Dex DC 15.
Yeah, but that is an error effect.
Oh, I see.
So you,
Makes
if
sense.
you're being overrun by creatures, you do the wing attack because it hits everything.
Okay, alright. No, just.
But
yeah.
not,
okay,
not
yeah,
in the
so
one-on-one combat.
It'd be claws, probably. Yeah.
Is that d6?
Lethal claws.
Yep. What damage dice do they do?
2d8.
So d8.
Might be 6. God, I really need to get those new dark glasses. No, 8. Yeah, claws is 8.
Cool.
So storm kick. Just
Yeah.
bring it up.
Storm kick, I do have.
Rude and nasty.
I have it. I got it up.
Just so I can actually reference it.
So you'd be doing 1d8 plus your spellcasting modifier plus 3d8 thunder damage and 68 lightning damage.
9d8 damage plus the damage of the weapon from the claws.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
no,
11d8,
she doesn't get her 2d8s from the claws. She only gets one of them.
which is 1d8.
Yep.
Plus
So
3d8.
all up 10d8s.
10d8.
Yeah, so.
Do they get a saving throw?
Nope. It's a ranged spell attack. So if it's a ranged spell attack, they don't tend to get a saving throw. If it's
It's not.
Normally there's
it's
one-
not, it's not an AOE effect.
Normally there's a roll to hit or a roll to miss.
Yeah. Yeah. But not both.
So I've got it here.
Okay, so make your attack roll.
So it's D20.
D20 plus
Are you
your.
taking the -5?
It's not a melee attack.
It's a ranged spell attack.
I thought it was any attack apparently.
I'll use.
Any attack roll.
Well, she's going to get a minus D4.
Oh no, that
on
was
their-
expertise. That wasn't the -5 to add 2d damage.
Okay.
She's going to take a -1 D4 on her attack anyway. So if she takes the -5, she's taking a -6 to 9 instead.
I would suggest not. It's not worth
No,
it.
not with Storm Kick. But I will use my second feat to do roll with advantage.
Yep.
Ooh, better. So 19 plus.
Spellcasting modifiers on the third sheet in that character sheet.
So I believe it's plus 11.
Yeah, so that'll be a 30. I think you're right.
And then roll a D4 to reduce that amount.
A D4. There's a pretty blue dice here that's a D4. No, that's a D6. There's the D4. It's a 3.
So yeah, so you got a 27.
That's probably a hit.
And it does hit because a 19 hit.
Last time, yeah.
But if she managed to get a 28, I would have given her an upgraded.
So her
Because she's technically a
modifier
master
is-
with a lot of her
So
weapons.
spellcasting modifier is 7.
So her spellcaster modifier is a 7, yes.
Yeah,
And she's got
without the
proficiency of
proficiency.
+4. So that means she's doing
10d8.
10d8
Plus 7.
plus the
Spellcasting.
claw strike of 2d8. So that is.
Is that on top of that?
Yeah, because it's a melee, it still does the melee.
So
attack.
12d8.
So 12d8
Yeah,
damage.
I've only got 3d8, but I can roll them
Plus
4
7
times.
plus 3, so it's a plus 10.
7 plus 4.
We just lost to Jeremy.
12, 22. That's 6. Yeah, no, that's an 8. Okay, so I'm at 22, right?
Correct?
Yep.
Yep.
Right, 22, 30, 36, 37, 38.
And one more.
And one more.
38,
think I had
46, plus 6 is 52.
Plus 10, so 62.
There you go.
It's a good amount of not messing about.
So you got 62 points?
62, yes.
And did you move behind him?
Technically, it allows you to teleport and come at him from a different
Yes.
angle.
I
Yeah.
would say yes, because I'm clever when it comes to sneaking up and whacking people.
Okay,
I
so
practice it with
you
these
see
all the
you
time.
see Calcrix disappear and then reappear, coming in at a different angle,
This
kicking the guy
gargantuan dragon.
from
Keep it
directly
covered.
behind as he's looking this way with the sword, and you hear this cracking sound
Ow.
as he seems to bend completely over backwards.
You've just
He is
shown
dead?
Him, just shown him the colour of
Is
his
he moving?
eyes.
I don't know if he's dead.
He doesn't seem to be dead, but
not moving real
he is folded in half in the armor.
Oh,
That normally doesn't fold.
yes.
Does that mean Calcrix walks over and gently unfolds him? And
Are you
hands
alright?
him back to the guy on the horse?
Unfolds him gently and says, "Are you
No.
okay?"
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, grab him by the head, hold him up, and shake him until he goes straight.
I think in the spirit of diplomacy, I don't think I'll shake him to death.
I don't think you need to shake him down. I think he's already dead.
Is there any movement?
There is twitching still.
That's because you're shaking him straight.
I don't.
If it looks like he's down and out, I will
I'm pretty
unfold
sure
him
it
and then
doesn't count.
gently pass him back to him.
Okay, so the leader starts laughing.
One shot challenge.
And as we are past 10:30,
I'm sorry, Seika.
he will basically.
I will get to use her at some point.
I had
first
no
next up.
idea that they were going to go challenge.
You did parlay, so he responded with a challenge.
I honestly thought he'd either I'm going to kill you all, or let's talk.
Yeah, it's more fun.
Well,
this
I
way.
have pointed multiple times that they're working for the Lady of Vengeance, and
Yeah.
she is a dragon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you are a dragon. You basically started a parlay with them, so they were not going to disrespect you.
Yep.
No, I
Yep.
didn't think of any of that.
One
Wish I
day
had.
And-
I
use my
would've been
combat
smarter.
techniques.
If Nadar had a parlay with them, they would have basically acted the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'd tried to talk to them, no.
Yeah.
So, would you like to add anything else? As Calcrix has just won a honor duel.
Calcrix,
I
I
will-
know people probably want to go, but she does want to talk to her
I will-
brother about the Lady of Vengeance.
And
I will-
Thank
I
you
will-
for the slow guy.
and technically, Calcrix took out someone of equal level.
Nice.
Yeah,
I will
so 100
congratulate Calcrix with a little bit of extra detail on what she's just successfully done.
So Saker is still in the shadows, still hiding, still holding her daggers ready to bounce,
Yeah.
but looking a little bit forlorn.
And I will say that they put their weapons away
I can play
to
Fightsy with you.
actually enter
No.
into negotiation.
Ooh,
I
well,
have
as I
a
said,
weapon with
Father Pat's done a
82
slow
hit
clap.
points.
No, it's okay.
Because Calcrix has gotten you out of a full-scale battle,
yes.
which would have tested the lot of you
I'm
because
sorry.
the
There's a lot
Blackguard
of them.
was the lowest level character there.
Now,
Besides the minions, who
Yes.
you could have one-shot.
a,
Any of
a
you.
bunch of minions and some people who were going to hurt.
But this is why I looked at the guy in the cloak and
Yeah.
went, really?
Why did you go
I-
really? Because he was.
Though he seems high up. Like, do we
Yeah.
really want to just try and wipe this guy out?
Finding
Okay,
out
Jeremy-
who's up-
The
Jeremy,
spy
would you
part
like
of
to-
me went, this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right.
Spy part goes. we
Okay,
need
so
to
going
find
to
more
end
of
credits,
this
and then I will chat some more.
Yeah.
Just so you can make a note, I do want to talk
but
to
yes, I was
my
going to
brother
use
at the
a
start of next session.
element shifted.
Hi.